up, and welcome back to the Section 10 podcast, episode 518, presented by Underdog Fantasy. It is the home of your soon-to-be 2025 World Series champion, Boston Red Sox. My name is Jared Carrabis, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Tyler Milliken, and he killed his dog Bullet, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, realest guys in the room. Steve, how you doing?
Ooh, what up, Section 10 in the building.
In the mother fucking building. Presented by Blue Moon.
Suck one.
Produced by Jake Yazzie.
Fuck yeah.
With a special guest today, Lenny DiNardo, who I believe for the first time just realized that Tyler Milliken killed his dog Bullet. I saw your reaction.
It was very judgy
to that, and you were floored.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the pre-show talk was dark, and now we're talking about killing dogs.
Yeah, well, he did. So
now, was it like 15 years old? Was it a mercy kill? Like it
no, actually one. Just about at its first birthday.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Was not putting him out of its misery. Had a full life coming up, and just
it was had so many years ahead, Lenny.
Man. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say the Section 10 pre-show has been awesome. I don't know if anyone's ever going to hear it, but it was great. Part of that pre-show, I was like, I don't know if Lenny's ever been on Section 10 before. Like, we've done Unobstructed Views. He was on ITM when Steve abandoned Section 10 and he said, fuck you guys. And he went and started a rival podcast. Like, Lenny was on that one, but he's never been on Section 10. It did not occur to me because, like, Steve and I were talking this morning and we're like, all right, like, Coley is in Florida? He's on vacation. Yeah.
I guess.
I heard
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
He said he landed somewhere. I don't know. He could be anywhere in the world.
I don't know how anyone could ever go to Florida and podcast. I don't know how anyone could ever do that. I'm just whoa. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying. But what I will say is this: is we didn't have Coley Mick, so I was like, hey, first of all, Steve had a great idea. Steve was like, we should have a guest on. And I was like, I got a better idea. We should have a guest on. And he was like, I love that idea. We started going over some names and he threw out Lenny. And I was like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, it's been a while since Lenny's been on, huh? I was like, I don't remember the last time he was on.
It's been like 500 and how many episodes since I've been on the show?
So I think this now explains why when Lenny found out how many episodes in we were like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. You guys never had me on. It's been 518.
518 of these things.
I thought I said something. I thought I said something offensive to somebody at some point.
No, Lenny, you know I love you. You know I love you. I love working with you. It's just, I don't know. You've just never crossed over into this podcast world. It's kind of crazy to me now I
almost wish there was a reason. It's even worse that there's no reason. It's worse that there's no reason you haven't been on. We just haven't
I think the reason is that, like, I figured he had been on at some point.
Well, yeah, me too. I'm just finding out now that he hadn't been on.
Lenny, not to make you feel worse about this, but we had the fucking hot dog guy on.
That was my next question. My next question was, how many other guests? I want to see what the line was.
Did we have a peanut guy?
Yeah, we had a peanut guy.
Did you guys have Tyler's dog on before me?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah.
He was like, ruff. Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah. To be fair, we almost put Lenny as part of the panel during the season. When Yuke wasn't answering us, Lenny was the first name we came up with.
Well, I think there's going to be some reshuffling of the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP voting panel, and we had Unobstructed Views with Lenny, who agreed to be a part of the panel for 2025. I think Maz said he was going to be in this year. Lenny's in. I think, there's going to have to be discussions about some of the people that were, not to name any names, but there were some absent ballots in 2024. We can't have that. The Red Sox, listen, going to be a good team in 2025. I was very pessimistic, very, I don't know what the word is, cunty, going into 2024. Listen, I think for 2025, I'm not going into this season thinking to myself, this is going to be a bad time. Last year, I was like, this is probably going to be a bad time. And it wasn't the worst time, but I didn't have a great time. I think this year is, I'm not saying I'm going to have a great time this year either. I'm just saying I might have a good time this year. How do you feel, Lenny?
Look, I feel like if you can pick up 10 games, go from 81 wins to 91 wins, I think that's completely plausible with the moves they've made already, with the moves I feel like they're going to make. They went out and got Crochet, top of the line starter, right? You went out and got Chapman. There's a big upside. You got a crazy lefty throwing 98 out of the bullpen. If you clean up the defense at all, they had the worst defense in the league on paper, right? And it's all in the infield. The outfield defense was spectacular. It's all in the infield. It's infield. Yep. So if you were to go out and get, trade for an Arenado, sign a Bregman, move Devers to first, use Casas as a piece, do something with him.
How do you feel about that? Let's not talk in hypotheticals. Let's talk about, how does Lenny DiNardo feel about this? Because you're a former teammate of Craig Breslow. No, did you guys play together?
We were throwing partners.
Yeah.
We were throwing partners in 06.
Yeah. So your friend, Craig Breslow, is now your assistant. You're the GM. He's working for you now. Tell me how you would operate with that situation in particular. Devers, is he your third baseman? Is he your first baseman? Is he your DH? And if he's not your third baseman, who is between Bregman, Arenado? Is it Christian Campbell? He can play anywhere. You could put it, like, how are you, if you could, I guess, take off the mode on the video game where like all trades are accepted and all free agent signings, they just work, like you can make it however you want. How are you constructing your team?
I'm either putting Arenado or Bregman at third base. I feel like they're going to make the infield a ton better.
Who has the edge?
Probably. You keep hearing different things. This person's going here, this person's going. I'm okay with both of them. I'm looking for that right-handed bat. That's going to solve two problems. I won't say Devers is a problem at third base, but he's made strides. But you need a solid guy on that side of the infield, along with a healthy Trevor Story. At second base, I say put Campbell there. Put him there. Let the athleticism work. Let him learn on the job. Let him fail at first, but go out there and take his lumps and go out there and hopefully bounce back. Like a lot of the youngsters we saw last year. We saw Rafaela struggle at points. We saw Duran 2 years ago struggle at points. Casas, same thing. When you get to the big league level, talent's great, but you're going to have to learn how to fail and then bounce back. And we saw a lot of those guys do that this past season and the season before. But you got to have a good, solid third baseman. I am okay with Devers at first or DH. I feel like if you're going to keep Casas, put Devers in the DH spot. Let him concentrate in the batter's box, in between innings, go in there and hit on the tee. Stop thinking about fielding the balls at third base, the hot corner. Because, he makes some really good plays every now and then, but every now and then it's the easy plays, the plays you really feel like he should make with a blindfold that he kind of fails at, which is bizarre, right? But again, if I'm the GM, I'm getting another starting pitcher. I'm spending some money. You have money to spend. Crochet's not a high dollar guy at this point, so it's not like you're spending a ton with him.
Who do you like? Who's your guy for a starter?
Obviously, pie in the sky. I'm getting Corbin Burns, right? If I can't get Burns, I'm getting Flaherty. He's I like him as well. I feel like he can do a bang job for the Red Sox. And as far as the bullpen, Hendricks has to be healthy. If he's a healthy closer, you can kind of interchange him, and maybe we'll see what Chapman does in whatever role he's going to be in, whether it's 8th, 7th, 8th, or possibly 9th. Who knows? Chris Martin's another option. I feel like he didn't have his best year last year, but he's a strike thrower. I feel like he's going to bounce back. Even when he did fail, it wasn't often, and it wasn't terrible, right? You see some guys just implode and they're not good for a month. I think he was really solid in a Red Sox uniform, and I feel like he still has it in him to do it again. So with the pieces they had last year, if you add a few additions, bullpen starters, right-handed bat, third baseman, I feel like you're well above pulling 10 games out of your hat, which is what they need to really be back into contention in the playoffs.
Before we continue this discussion, because I have a lot of questions that I have for Lenny. A couple dreams maybe I'll drop in there as well. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Shit.
Are you dreaming about me?
Sometimes. Sometimes. I saw those beach pics, Lenny. I saw the beach pics. You kidding me? The fuck? This guy is ripped. How old are you?
45.
45 looks better than most men in their mid-20s. Come on.
Shut up, Jared. Why do you have to direct it at me?
That was a direct shot at me. Listen,
you're talking about Jake?
Hey, I didn't say... No, Jake looks amazing.
What about me?
Jake looks amazing.
Yeah,
he's been hitting the gym. Yeah, he's been dieting. Yeah. You can really see it. But you can also see that it's the greatest time of the year again because football's back and it's here to stay until February. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog. Went up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats like touchdowns, passing yards, and more. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head on over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared. And Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. What do you think about Tyler, Lenny? What do you think about him? Just like visually.
Handsome man. Handsome man. He's got a solid beard.
Oh,
he's got a real thick beard.
Yep.
Likes his ketchup, apparently.
Oh, yes. Loves it.
Right.
Oh, he's a big ketchup guy.
I drowned in ketchup. Yeah.
That was the last fun thing we had last year was him getting drizzled and Jim Rice walking by like, how the hell am I in this shot?
Yeah, it was a tough moment for him to look at me with the level of disgust he had. I understood it, but for that to be the first moment he ever saw Tyler Milliken, I don't think there's any coming back from that.
No. I mean, getting looked at with a look of disgust from Jim Rice is a badge of honor. Like you strive for that almost, you know?
You're not the first. You're not the first.
I don't think you have to do much to get it, but it is a badge of honor. We'll give you that.
No,
I'll take it.
I love Jim Rice. What a guy.
I do too.
What a guy. What a library of knowledge to be able to tap into just talking baseball with Jim Rice.
Lenny, does he still bring...
I have a golf ball right there that says JR number 14, Hall of Fame 2009, given to me by Jim Rice. I don't know if you can see it. It's up in this.
Look at that. You were like, solid I stole it from his house. Does he still bring donuts into Nesson and food into Nesson? Yeah, that used to be something he did all the time. So he still does.
He does. Yeah. That's absolutely.
Good. He's a nice guy.
He is.
He brings donuts.
He brings donuts.
Yeah. Lenny, what do you bring? Lenny, what do you bring?
I bring donuts. I get in the mix.
Okay.
I bring
favorite donut? Favorite donut?
Boston cream.
Okay.
I love Boston cream.
Is that a homer pick, or are you pandering right now, or is that really your favorite?
I always, even when I was living in Florida, I liked Boston cream.
Lenny, again, I saw your beach pick. You don't eat donuts. Come on.
I'm not saying I eat them all the time, but if I have to pick a donut and crush it, it's going to be a Boston cream.
That's fair. That's fair.
And if you're my saying is if you're gonna be a bear, you might as well be a grizzly bear. So if I'm getting a donut, I'm getting the worst one for you. One that's just nasty filling custard getting all over you. So
Lenny's doing the thing right now that like fit people do. They're like, when I eat bad, like let me tell you, let me tell you what I do.
When I get,
I think I know what you do, and I think you probably have like a little bite. You have like a munchkin or something. You're like, I'm being bad tonight, and then you go right back to eating healthy the next like 80 days.
Yeah,
I'm like eating a Snickers. I'm spitting it out into a cup.
It's like the skinny Instagram models when they're like, today's my birthday, and they're just like nibbling on the edge of like a pizza, and it's like, I know you didn't swallow that.
I actually live that lifestyle. I'm insulted when I see shit like that.
Gabe Kapler was that guy. Gabe Kapler used to bring Tupperware. He'd like bring Tupperware of like protein container, complex carbohydrate container, vegetable container. Every day that was just completely, before it was like a thing, he was doing this, obviously, right? I mean, you've seen that guy.
I mean, that's why...
I'm not that guy. I had like half a pound of pasta before I came on with you guys. It's
Gabe Kapler. I mean, all that, like in 1999, his career high in home runs was 18. And then from 2002 on, he averaged like 3 home runs a year. So like all that muscle mass. Like he should have been hitting 45 bombs a year with all that.
Is he still doing those? He's got some TikToks that are very interesting. Is he still doing those?
I think so. I haven't been following very closely, but he's like, Gabe's an interesting guy. He's into like cool music. He's into like an alternative. Like he loves certain types of food. You'll see him with like a sport coat on, his turtleneck, and he's an interesting cat. He really is. He's very, very unique.
Jerry doesn't love the talks.
He's very look at me. He's very look at me, but I don't want you to look at me. You know what I mean?
I get it. The TikToks are funny though. Like he'll be walking down a street, some random ass streets. Like, you know what? When you go into that job interview, like you gotta know you're gonna crush it. If you're gonna crush it, like you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, like what are you even doing with your entire life? And he's doing this in like a side street down like an alley or something. I'm like, man, what are you doing right now, Gabe Kapler?
They're kind of banging though. These are doing numbers. I'm looking at them right now.
I think they're funny. Jerry doesn't like them, but I think they're funny.
It's not that listen. It's not that.
Listen,
not that.
There is an audience.
He's one of my most unique teammates, and he was always super cool to me. I walked in the clubhouse one day, and he just looked at me in a kind of a slow, monotone voice. He looks at me and he goes, "Leonardo, Eduardo, DiNardo." And it kind of stuck for the rest of the season. He would do the same thing. And now every time I see Trot Nixon, he does it. It just kind of caught on. Trot adds a few Ardos onto it, though, that I can't mention. He's just like,
Trot's the best.
Trot, yeah.
What a guy. The best. He's still living the dream every single day.
Oh, yeah.
So take me through the last, call it 2 years. Because I mentioned how going into 2024, I was like, I don't get why people are excited. Like, I get it's a new season. I think you should always be excited for opening day. But in spring training, I was like, what? Am I the crusty old guy now that is just automatically pessimistic, or am I just smarter than everyone? And the answer is I was smarter than everyone. I knew that this team was not going to be good, and I was off by, I think going into the last game of the season, I had a chance to predict the season record 100% accurately. They ended up, winning on the last day?
I think you had 78 and 84. They needed to get swept. No. I believe. I
think Jared had him at 80. I had him at 79.
80 and 82. Okay,
it's also the reason you have the 15th overall pick now.
I think they needed to lose on the last day of the season for me to nail the season prediction. Right. And I all I heard was about, you're just becoming one of them. One of the media guys is just always negative. And I'm like, no, I'm infinitely smarter than all of you, and you should listen to my opinions because they're often correct. Coming into this season, Lenny, how do you feel, or is it unfair for me to ask because it's incomplete? Like you still think the big move is coming, or a big move? Because I think Crochet is the big move, but another big move could be coming.
I feel like another move needs to be made. They need to get another starting pitcher. If they do get another starting pitcher, it's going to be light years ahead of last year's optimism. And last year, I agree. I came into last year, I thought they were going to win 83. And the starting pitching at the beginning of the season opened my eyes, and I was thinking, okay, they're going to be way better than 83. These guys are solid. But then when the injury bug kind of just derailed a lot of it, Trevor Story went down, missed most of the season. Casas missed most of the season. These are two big pieces of the infield, the offense. They were just kind of snake bit from there. A couple guys really pulled their weight. Guys like Tyler O'Neill, he was solid. He was solid. I feel like, again, though, him and Devers colliding, both of those guys missed significant time. They were both injured. So you're talking about a bunch of big pieces that were out for a ton of games, and it just it messed with their mojo, really. The momentum just kind of faded. It faded, and the starting pitching, as well as it did early on, right after the All-Star break, it struggled a little bit. And then by the end of the season, everybody, which is what happened the past 3 seasons, at the end of the season, everybody just looked dog tired. No offense, Tyler. Everybody just
it excites me.
Everybody just
that gets them going.
Everybody looked so tired. The bullpen just couldn't get it done. The offense disappeared. You're talking about a top 3, top 5 offense for the majority of this season. stats wise, and they just could not get it done. They weren't doing the same things on the base paths that they were doing previously. They weren't being aggressive, taking extra bases. They weren't stealing. And it just looked like a completely different team. And I feel like it was a domino effect. Injuries into getting tired, into losing certain key pieces. Trevor Story in the infield makes it a completely different defensive alignment.
Agreed.
Makes everybody around him better. Devers is more optimistic. He's more confident at third base with him over there.
True or false? If Casas and Trevor Story in 2024, that's what year it is right now, right? Yeah. I'm
you
like,
nailed that. Always right. Always right.
I'm at that age now where I just like, I don't like, I wanted to say 2023. I'm like, is next year 2024? I don't know. True or false, Lenny? In 2024, if Story and Casas averaged between the two 140 games, the Red Sox are a playoff team. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So if that's true,
so
if that's true, and with the additions that they could be making now, like, what realistic win total are we talking about? If it's, let's say, I don't think this is going to happen just based on conversations I've had. I'm not ruling it out, but let's say it does happen. They trade for Luis Castillo. Let's say that does happen. What's a realistic win total we can slap on this team?
They get Castillo. They already have Crochet. You got Chapman. Now, are we getting a third baseman? Are we moving Devers or just that one move?
See, that's where it gets dicey because
I think for the sake of the discussion, it should just be Castillo. And then, like, what do you think happens? Right?
Yeah, like, let's say it's Casas at first, Devers at third, you add Castillo.
Okay.
Teoscar?
Teoscar, no, I don't think that's happening.
What about Burns and Castillo? It's
Well,
like
I think Teoscar, if you're not getting a third baseman,
117
it's fair.
106 wins, right? 106 right there, yeah.
what if you trade for Otani, Lenny?
Yeah.
What do you think happens then?
Argument.
Yeah,
just switch Dodgers and Red Sox uniforms.
They bring Mookie back, Lenny. What's the win total?
Yeah. You know, honestly, with the moves that are made right now, I think they're flirting with 90. But you got to have the same season from the starting pitchers last year. You have to have them repeat that.
The 30-star boys.
The 30-star boys,
is Tanner going to be another all-star? Is Tanner Houck going to be an all-star?
I believe the answer is yes. And you may accuse me of being a Red Sox bobo. No,
but
because
he's going to have to overdo he's going to have a better first half this upcoming season just to like live up to that, because part of it I think was the surprise factor of look at this guy, we didn't expect that. He had that in his favor. He's not going to have that this time around.
Listen,
what has to happen is Tanner can slide a little bit, but Bello's got to step up. Bello's got to be the guy. He can't have a high 4 or 5 ERA.
Yeah, no, yeah, he does. Buy Tanner Houck stock, Lenny. Buy it. I'm telling you right now, all these people that are like, oh, well, he went from a guy that couldn't make it past the order a second time to, oh, he's just a fluky all-star. No. Tanner Houck unlocked something last year to where I'm not going to say he's going to be better than he was last year, but I absolutely unequivocally believe Tanner Houck can be the guy he was last year. And probably because like last year was the first time that he's, making 30 starts or whatever, but you're building up your body. I think that he takes a little bit of a step forward. I think he's as good, maybe a little bit better this year, because now it's not his first go around at making 30 starts. You know why I would agree with that? Because now that he did it, he's got the confidence that he knows he can go out there and compete against big league hitters for, third time through, no problem. That's in the past. Second, the type of pitcher he is, he's not a high velo guy. He relies on movement. Mm-hmm. You can tell when he throws his fastball, he's got a couple extra, maybe 2 or 3 miles an hour in the tank if he needs it. He's not one of those guys a la Chris Sale, who's max effort all the time. And when he's not throwing 95, 98, something's wrong. Tanner Houck can compete 93, 92, 94 miles an hour and get up to 96 when he wants to. Just every now and then he can add a couple miles an hour. But when he's his most successful, he's using his secondary stuff, that sweeping slider, and even more important, that third pitch, that split that goes arm side, keeps everybody on their toes and keeps them honest, because he has so much stuff going into a lefties, away to righties, that he's got to have that third pitch kind of boring in arm side. If he can use that movement, add on, take off with the velocity on the fastball, that with the confidence, I feel like he can have another banger year. I was going to ask you this question on unobstructed views, and I'm glad I waited because now Garrett Crochet factors into the equation. If you, and I'm not saying you because you're left-handed. Let's say it's a right-handed because I think that's all we have except for Crochet. If you could create a 4-pitch repertoire just using Red Sox starters, whose pitches are you putting in there?
Oh, that's a great question. I love Houck's slider, that little sweeper. Geez, how about?
I feel like you have to take Crochet's fastball. I mean, he's
yeah. Just as far as velo, what is he? 98, 99?
He can hit 100, right?
Yeah,
couple times.
Yeah. So you got to take his velo. Cutter Crawford's got a nasty cutter. When it's on, it's a nasty cutter.
Yeah,
it's good. As far as the split finger, it's got to be Houck's, right? Does he have the best changeup? As far as when it's on, Bello's got the best changeup. Yeah. Bello's got the best changeup. The split's got to be Houck, right?
Yeah, that's pretty
Who's
fair.
a better split? I mean, I think Crawford.
Who else is throwing one consistently?
Yeah, it's got to be Houck's. What about the two seam? We don't really have a Derek Lowe sinker like we used to in this. Everything's kind of already. Everything's going
Bello
glove side.
Again, but like not really.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would pick Bello's sinker.
That, you know what, that tells me so much about Bello because he has probably the best stuff, barring Crochet and the fastball and his stuff. But for years, Bello's pure stuff was light years above everybody else. Look at the velo. Look at the movement. Look at the two-seam arm side movement of his changeup. It's nasty. But he just kind of couldn't put it together and be successful with it because he would lose command. He would get behind in counts and have to go down the middle, and then he would get crushed. Yeah. And it says a lot. He needs to mature and gather what he has and use it to be effective.
Yeah. If I could give you the power. And I already know who you're going to say. If I could give you the power to take a pitcher take Crochet out of it, don't count him, to give a Red Sox starter guaranteed you're going to have a better season in 2025 than you did in 2024. You can give that ability to one guy. Who's that one guy that you're giving it to?
Bello. Right?
I knew you were going to say Bello.
I think it's easily Bello.
Yeah.
It has to be. Only because it has to. This kid cannot go out there with his stuff and still have a 4.5, 5 ERA with his stuff. He's got Pedro-esque stuff physically. Now, the difference between Bello and Pedro, though, is if you look at Pedro every 5 days, if you look at him wrong, he's going to knock you on your ass, right?
Yeah.
People don't think that when they step in the box against Bello. They just don't. No, you need that extra factor that this guy's a little off his rocker.
I'll add in real quick, Jerry. And I know the question was who's going to have a bump from last season? Who would you pick?
Yeah.
Can I get a little greedy here and say who could have an all-star caliber season that didn't last year? If that's Brayan Bello, if Bello can get to like maybe all-star pitcher level, and then you have Tanner Houck even come close to repeating what he did last year, you got Crochet in that one spot. Who knows if you bring on Buehler or anybody else for that rotation? I mean, we start doing the wins game. Like, that's a team that can win the AL East. And I don't want to say it would be that hard considering like you have that rotation and then whatever the rest of the lineup is. I think you could easily win the AL East if Brayan Bello has an all-star caliber season.
And another guy we haven't talked about, Giolito. This is a guy who prior to having surgery was posting 30 starts plus 3 seasons in a row.
He could join the 30 start boys. We could be a 4-boy group.
Built to be one. It's him.
Crazy.
This is a guy that getting, and he's a giant, first of all. This guy's huge. If you've seen him, he's a giant. He getting with Andrew Bailey, I feel like Andrew's probably going to talk to him and figure out what has been happening the past year on the mound. Stuff-wise, when he struggled, Andrew's the type of guy where if you use this pitch more, if you use this pitch less, throw this pitch in this quadrant more often, this is probably what's going to happen, right? He's the pitcher whisperer. So I feel like that's only going to help Giolito kind of get his confidence back. And these guys, when they come back from Tommy John, physically, they're where they want to be. It's the rest of the body they've been working on, whether resting the tendon And then once they're right, they're right. So hopefully he gets after it and he has a successful season too, because this is the unknown guy, right? You just don't know what you're going to get for him. But if he shows up, he could be a factor.
Lenny, from a pitcher's perspective, because I think about that with Giolito, we haven't really talked about him at all. It's more just on the tail end of conversations like, oh, by the way, Lucas Giolito is going to be in the rotation. How do you weigh, like, if you miss time, how long it's going to take to get back to that version versus the benefit of the mentals and the physical that you got to miss the time? I think people talk about missed time as a fully negative thing. He didn't have to do the 162. He didn't have to do the grind and the flights and all that stuff. Like, mentally, he should be fresh. Physically, he should be fresh. How do you weigh that versus the time it takes to get back into your prime form?
Well, anytime you're injured, no matter what the injury is, and I think especially for a pitcher, because that motion when you release that baseball is such a violent motion, especially these days. The last thing to come around is that mental capacity to let it go. Because, you're always thinking, is this going to be the one where it tears again? Right. So you're kind of holding back. But I feel like we're far enough now from his surgery dates where he's probably he's going to be geared up and throwing bullpens and probably batting practice going into spring training. So it's not like he has to pick up a ball and kind of gear up with everybody else. I'm assuming he's going to be ready to go day one, throwing against batters, probably going to be down there early in Fort Myers and just ready to go. But you're right. Physically, he's going to be stronger than ever before. I feel like he's going to be rested. He's going to be raring to go mentally because, man, I had a year off. I see what this Red Sox club is bringing right now. We've got another starter to add to the mix, right? These guys, I feel like they know that this could be special if they go ahead and put it together. So I feel like he could be a piece of the puzzle that's going to help this team. And look, 10 wins. It sounds easy in a 162-game schedule, but it should be. It really should be. Catch the ball, throw it. Catch it again.
That's it.
You know where I'm at right now? Because I love what's happened so far. I'm confident / I trust that more will be done in the area that I think we need it to be done in, being starting pitcher or adding, an Arenado, Bregman, whatever. I know people, like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want that to happen. But I more just want the infield defense to be better because, as you highlighted earlier, the infield defense was horrendous. And I feel like that is the position that if you're going to bolster it, it's third base or first base. Casas is not going anywhere, at least for right now. I assume he could be included in a deal. But if we're talking to Seattle and they don't give a shit about Casas, then let's assume Casas is still here. Okay, so then the move is move Devers off third base. Figure out how you're going to do that defensively. So if that's the case, here's where I'm at for 2025 and why I'm excited is because, sure, when you have your years like 2018, where it's like, all right, we've won back-to-back division titles, and then we just got a new manager who's the fucking man, and we got JD Martinez who's going to shore up the middle of this order, and we're really going to score a ton of runs. That's like when you're in that position of we're about to take over the world. That's cool. But where we're at right now, where it's like, all right, we're not the favorite in the division. We may not even be the second favorite. A lot of people are talking about Baltimore still. The Yankees are making moves. No one's really talking about us. But if the Red Sox can win, like you said, 90 games, you're in the dance. And depending on how you play in some of these head-to-head matchups, like say you go up against the Yankees and you have like a, say it's a 90-win season, but you have a 750 winning percentage against the Yankees, and they're thinking like, all right, cool, we won the division by 9 games, but we don't want to run into them. It's same thing that happened in 21, where it's like, cool, man. Like head to head, the grand slam or that Stanton hit in September off Darwin's and Hernandez. The Yankees were feeling pretty good about themselves, but it's like, are we though? Like, do we really want to play them in the playoffs? Garrett Cole, Fenway Park? Like, do we really want that? No, turns out they didn't want that. So I feel like the Red Sox in 2025 could put themselves in the position, especially with the young guys that are coming up, the Roman Anthony's of the world, the Christian Campbells and the Marcelo Myers, those guys coming up, plus the moves that they made this offseason. They put themselves in a position to win 90 games and put themselves in a position where the focus isn't on us. Baltimore, they've been knocking on. They have a 100-win season. They got 0 playoff wins to show for it the last 2 years, making it to the postseason. All the pressure's on you. Win a fucking playoff game. Never mind a series. Win a fucking game.
And their
Yankees
ace just walked out the door.
Right. Like Santander, he's gone. But then, like, it's you haven't won a fucking World Series since standard definition television. Like the Red Sox can just be in a spot where they're a good team with no expectations, especially with the fan base. The fan base will just be elated that they have a winning record and a chance to make the playoffs. That's why I am more optimistic about this year than I have been in a long time.
All you got to do is put a roster together that we can expect can make the playoffs. Yep. That's it. And that's actually a luxury if you're the front office, by the way, because the bar's like never been at that point. You've said it there. You're why it's there. But still, as Sox fans, we look at it, and I approach the offseason like this. They didn't have to do that much. They still don't have to do that much for us to go into the season feeling very confident about their odds of potentially coming out of the American League and going to the World Series. And then there's a lot of people, Jared, you alluded to it, that'll then treat that as like the homer thing. It's like, no, look at the league. Look at the standings. Look at what it took to win the AL East. 94 wins. Won the American League East. That's never been the case. I'm sure a couple times here or there, but that's typically a wild card team now. But again, like especially with the format we have and what we've seen the last couple of years in the playoffs, you're almost better off being a wild card team, which if the Red Sox just make these additions they know they need to make in the next couple of weeks or months, hopefully a couple of weeks, Jesus, then I don't want to say you're guaranteed a wild card team. You need a lot of things to go right over 162, but you're at least in a really good position to, like Jared's saying, compete and then knock off a team that's been sitting around for a week, which might end up being the Yankees. That would be glorious if we get that matchup.
I 100% agree. And again, starting pitching's key, but right behind that, and I mean right behind that's the defense, because those two things are hand in hand. If you have a defense behind you that's not good, and they haven't been for the past few seasons, the pitchers are pitching differently than they should. They're trying to strike everybody out because they don't want to put the ball on the ground because they're afraid their second baseman is going to boot it and it's going to be, whatever. We've heard this story before. We've watched it the past couple of seasons. But if you're a starting pitcher, a relief pitcher, and you're pitching to contact, and you know that behind you, these guys are going to take care of you, you're going to be pitching less pitches. You're going to get deeper into games because you're getting quick outs. 3 pitches in and out. Who cares about striking guys out? Because you're letting the defense take care of it. So with that said, Campbell, do you put him at second base? Do you let him struggle early, but get him the reps early so we're solid later in the season?
I think you need to do something like we just talked about, whether it's Bregman or Arenado or some sort of additional move that's going to help you defensively and offensively, because the last thing I want to do is bring in a Roman Anthony or Christian Campbell and have them feel like if we fail, then the team's
fucked. It's up to you, kid.
Yeah, like I don't want to put them in that spot. I do think that both guys will succeed early. Like maybe you have that 2-3 week adjustment, but I don't think we're talking about a Jackson Holiday situation where they get called up and they're like, oh, maybe we jumped the gun on this one, and then they get sent back down. Like, I understand, like, because even Jackson Holiday was someone that number one prospect, succeeded at every level he was at, went to spring training, very clearly did not belong, against other minor leaguers. Like he was ready for the big league. So I can't sit here and say, well, Christian Campbell and Roman Anthony have hit at every level that they've been at, so I don't have any doubts about them at the big league level. I think once you perform at every level, and in Campbell's case, he has not struggled at all at any level. It's just
I talked to a coach in the minor leagues. And I was like, what do you got on these guys? What do you got? Like, legit, tell me what you feel. He's like, Roman Anthony's the real deal. There's a reason why he's the number one prospect in baseball. But he looked me in the eye and he said, but Christian Campbell, this guy is legit. This guy is the factor. This guy is the factor. If you want to win a championship, this is the guy that's going to get you over the edge. Now, you're right. This is in the minor leagues. It's not the big leagues. There's a huge difference. But I could just tell by the look on this coach's face, and he's like, Campbell is the real deal. The season that he put together last year made baseball look easy, and we all know it's not.
And
Right.
this is always hard to know. This is just a wild guess. But when we got to talk to Campbell in Worcester, he doesn't come across to me as the guy that even if he came up and maybe didn't just tear the cover off the ball, that's going to like destroy him. Like, he seems like a confident kid. He's got kind of a quiet confidence to him. I don't think that's going to like ruin his path by any means. There is something with Holiday where I'm like, he does kind of look like a little kid out there, and he kind of looked like he was overmatched. Campbell's like built. He's not going to look like overmatched, and I don't think he's going to take it terribly if he has a lot to work on. With how quickly he adjusts, with how quickly he's performed at all these levels, I think it's fine. And T, you've talked about this, but he's probably the top guy that would start an opening day of the prospects at this point, right? Is that where you're leaning?
I would probably lean that way just because you look at Campbell, as much as you talk Jackson Holiday or Roman Anthony, like Christian Campbell was a college draft pick. He wasn't an 18-year-old who just came into minor league ball and had to kind of, figure it out. But I think for Campbell right now, when you're talking that right-handed thump, it's what the Red Sox are missing. That's why we're talking Bregman, Arenado, Teoscar Hernandez regularly. Christian Campbell is the guy who can kind of slot there and figure it out the quickest. He's also the most versatile. You could play him at second base if you wanted. You could move him to different parts of the infield. We know what he can do in the outfield. I think that's why a lot of people have gone hot on the idea of, hey, maybe you do go get Bregman. You want to make Rafael Devers happy. You don't want to trade Tristan Casas while his value's low. Put Bregman at second. You can still give Campbell a shot in left field. In a year from now, if you want to go chase Vladdy or whatever it may be, you want to move Devers off a third, you still have all those options in front of you. You kind of raise the ceiling of the team all at once. But I think it's hard when you involve the draft pick compensation as well, because these teams are rewarded if Campbell and Roman Anthony are fighting for Rookie of the Year together. While it's scary to think of two rookies in the lineup regularly, if you move Willier, those two guys will give you a shot. If one of them doesn't win Rookie of the Year, it'd be a shock. They'd be arguably the favorites out of anybody.
Especially coming off of this Rookie of the Year class that was weak as hell. Like, no one really wanted that. Everyone sucked in September that was up for that award. He'll kind of save the season, and that's why he gets it. But that would obviously be the case. It does feel like Campbell has the best chance to make it out in opening day. And then at least Grissom has something to prove. It's like, oh, wow, a rookie took my spot. Maybe that's a wake up for him. Maybe he just isn't that great.
Thought about him.
Cora's hyping him. Cora's talking very excited about him at the winter meeting, saying, man, he looks like a completely different guy this offseason. Like, the lesson he learned when they sent him down there.
45 pounds, didn't you
yes.
hear?
You know what I want? I so badly want, like, this guy's offseason's been awful. He has gotten fat. He hasn't worked out at all. His swing looks even worse. He also was mean to me on the phone. Like, I want a manager to say that.
Yeah. I will say, though, the Grissom you saw even the last 2 weeks of the season, what a completely different guy than the guy who started in May and kind of battled even through most of the time in the minors. He started hitting the ball hard again. Like, if you had that guy for a full 162, I don't think you're having any conversation over who was playing second base every day.
Do you think, Lenny, you think we're getting Bregman? I still can't picture it. I can't picture him in the Sox uniform. And that's me. Everyone does analytics. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't quite see it.
It's hard to tell. You just never know, right? I thought we were getting Soto. I was one of those guys. Right? As soon as I heard Red Sox were in, I was like, oh, man. Oh, we're getting Soto. We're getting them, right? Until we weren't, But then when we didn't, I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Was it really worth that much to get a guy like that? We have a great outfield. But I don't know. Bregman, would he be okay playing second base? Has there been talk? Would he be okay moving to second base?
Know. Cora was pitching it. That was his main selling point. I always believed Alex Bregman could play second base.
I don't know.
Did you say second, Lenny? The fuck? Second base? Who could possibly know if he'd be okay doing that?
What even is a second base?
What is that? Lenny, you're crazy, man. I like you.
You're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy, man.
I say everything I've heard with Campbell, I say put him out there in spring training every game. Let him get his feet under him. And honestly, everybody fails at some point early on. Yeah, you're going to hit, but you're going to fail. It's just the nature of the beast. Let him get that out of the way early. Let him get some confidence after that, especially with a guy named Trevor Story at shortstop. Having that guy kind of pull you under his wing and talk to you every day on a big league field is only going to make him better.
We talk about things that we would love to know about the upcoming season. If you could tell us, like, one of these starters would be better, you go down the list. I would just love to know the game total for Trevor Story. Just tell me right now, how many games is he going to play in? And I feel like we have a completely different understanding for what the season could be, because that's kind of the cloud looming up. We talk about the infield. I mean, that's boom. It's a huge answer right there if we're talking about defense, obviously. So it would be nice to know right now. Obviously, we can't do that. It's a bunch of hypotheticals, but would be good to.
Even if you left his bat at home. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. Designated fielder. We'll have a DF. Yeah, why not?
I mean, go out there. I mean, get a hit every now and then, but just go out there and field everything that you can field, right? Just do what you do, you know?
Should we be able to? You should have a DF, right? DF's not a terrible idea.
Don Rafaela would be incredible in that role.
And you just add another DH? Yeah, let's just do that.
20 balls? I don't know.
Except the platinum slugger. We got the golden hitter. Now we're going to do a platinum or whatever.
Lenny, in terms of how the Red Sox bullpen's at right now, are you kind of in the belief that Liam Hendricks going into that first day at camp with his kind of history and everything should be kind of penciled in to that ninth inning spot? And beyond that, like guys like Garrett Whitlock and Justin Slayton, as a Rule 5 guy yourself, is it kind of crazy to see how quickly they impacted the team when they came up, especially Slayton last year, where it became pretty clear, and it's no disrespect to Chris Martin or Kenley Jansen, the fireman, the guy they were kind of going to in a lot of those big spots, no matter where they were, was Slayton again and again. Do you think he could kind of grow into that closer role, even if Hendricks falters a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like the stuff is there, and this isn't your grandpa's Rule 5. You know what I mean? I was grandpa's Rule 5. You know what I mean? When I was the Rule 5 guy, my job was when the starter got knocked around the second inning, I had to go fill innings, right? I'm throwing the second, third, fourth inning. I'm throwing a blowouts either way. I'm trying to just eat innings, save the bullpen, do what I can. Spot start my second and third year. Every now and then I made a start. But Slayton, Whitlock, these guys, their stuff is legit, right? They were big league ready when they stepped in onto the field. You know, there's a lot of on-the-job learning for me, but these guys were ready. And just pure stuff wise, they're blowing people away with their fastball. They've got good secondary stuff. Now Slayton's got a year under his belt. I always love that because I feel like the confidence, you know, I belong here. I'm not thinking if they're going to ship me out because I'm a Rule 5 guy. They can send me back at any point if I struggle. That's gone. You're a Red Sox now, and go out there and they know what you need to do, and you know what you need to do to go out there and succeed and help this club. So yeah, I do believe Slayton could fill that role. I'm hoping he doesn't have to. I'm hoping Hendricks goes out there and is batshit crazy like he always is, and goes out there and just dices people up, right? I love watching him do his thing. I feel like Chapman's another guy that could fill a late inning role, whether it's the 8th spot in the 9th every now and then if Hendricks is down. But again, Slayton, he's got the stuff to go out and do it. As far as Whitlock, we all think that he's a reliever, right? Is that the consensus? He's definitely a reliever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like he needs to be ready on the field. We don't need him on the IL. I feel like he's really, really good in that 6th, 7th, 8th inning role when needed. Anytime if we're up, kind of what Slayton did last year when he was down. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they have a ton of guys at the end of that bullpen with the guys we mentioned that can go out and lock it down. But I feel like you do need a few other pieces mid relief, guys that can eat innings. Is it Winkowski? Is it possibly Crawford if you go out and get another starter?
I would trade Winkowski. I would. I think he's got
he wants to be a starter, right? That he wants to be a starter. That's
he can do whatever he wants,
right?
But he doesn't click on Bailey's program. Like that was the story last year. So it's like one of those things. If you get 2023 Winkowski, I think anyone's throwing him in that has bullpen.
A ton of value. Then you trade him, and then you ended up getting. You know, he's just a piece that can make you better. And in my personal opinion, that's I'm not a general manager though. That's not something that I'm not. But I'm just looking outside the box here. You got to get creative sometimes. That's something you have to do.
Beyond that.
And Boozer and Bernardino, the two lefties that are kind of mid-game guys, mid-game arms, I feel like overall last season, at certain points, they really did a good job. Now, towards the end, everybody in the bullpen was terrible. I just feel like they just got super tired. They weren't hitting their spots. They were missing. They were walking guys all over the place. And you can't do that. You got to pound the strike zone. You got to have that mentality where you're, the conveyor belt mentality, I call it. 3 pitches, maybe 4 pitches, get them in and out. Whether it's on the ground, in the air, or a strikeout, don't be throwing 8, 9 pitches, getting behind in counts. It just doesn't work that way at the bullpen. It ruins the whole complexion of what you're doing out there.
I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people do the debate recently. Tanner Scott, who the Red Sox were attached to a ton at the start of the offseason, still out there. Then you got Jeff Hoffman on the other side, lefty versus righty. if you could pick between those two arms for what fits what the Red Sox need right now with Chapman here and the Justin Wilson signing as well, what do you think they would benefit most from? Would it be getting that Tanner Scott that's just a ridiculous lefty you can put anywhere? Or is it kind of the power righty like Hoffman who could replace Chris Martin?
Well, the thing is, these days, with the rule of you have to face 3 batters, you got to get somebody that can not only get their arm side out, but you got to get the opposite arm too. You know, it's when Tito was a manager, he'd bring in a Bradford or a Ziegler or a Myers. You know, we had all these guys that could get one guy out, and then you move someone else. It was chess. But now it's super important to have those splits where your righties versus lefties and vice versa are just as good. You know, so either one of those guys will be fine, I feel like, but I don't know their splits off the top of my head, but I feel like it's super, super important to be able to not only get your arm side, but the opposite as well with the rules these days.
Oh man. I
is that a sigh?
That's because you got me going on the Bregman stuff. And
Oh.
you know, I've got some takes. Here's what's going on, Lenny, right? Because
Okay.
have you heard of the Scoop Shop? You know what the Scoop Shop is?
No.
So we have a text message thread. Everyone in Section 10 and some other individuals. And whenever we hear the word on the street, we put the information in the Scoop Shop text thread. And as it pertains to one Alex Bregman, there's been conflicting reports. Like stuff where information where if taken at face value, you would say, oh, he's not coming here. But then some information where you're like, I think he might come here. I think that it's not impossible. I'm not saying that it's likely or that the Red Sox are the front runners, but there had been information where if taken at face value, you would say, all right, there's no way. There's just no way. But then there's some information where you're like, oh, well then maybe. I could see a world where that makes sense.
But then there's other info that's like, oh, it's not happening. Like, not happening at all.
Right.
But there's
The
some
front office
info.
doesn't even agree on it.
But here's where I land on it.
Yeah.
Lenny. Here's where I land on it. Pitching's the priority, A. Your buddy Breslow has yet to spend money, so there's not a ton of money to go around. So if there's going to be money spent, it's probably going to be on pitching. And I think the ultimate deciding factor for me, from what I'm hearing, the word on the street, is the way that the Red Sox see this, or at least the front office, because we know Cora wants him, we know Kennedy wants him. But I'm not even just putting this entirely on Breslow. This is just kind of, front office, the way that they see it, is we think, and this is a good thing, this is actually a great thing, we think we can get equal to or greater than production from our infield prospects, that being Christian Campbell, Marcelo Meyer. We don't have to extend ourselves and overpay in a competitive Alex Bregman market because we like and believe in Meyer and Campbell that much. So that's why, like, when I don't want to say that there's a bidding war, there's definitely a handful of teams that are in on Bregman, no doubt, but the winner of the Bregman sweepstakes is going to have to maybe overextend themselves, and I don't think the Red Sox see the need to do that because of those guys, which is a good thing, I guess.
Just a number of years, right? The number of years that he's going to command. Are you really going to need him for that long? Is he going to be productive for that long? Is that what you're saying? You're going to have guys, whether it's this year or next year, where you're not going to need Bregman. Is that what you're saying, basically?
So
if you have the Marcelo Meyer
I don't want to say
conversation,
too much. I don't want to say too much.
But even like put things out with Marcelo Meyer, if you go a year from now and he's ready to, make his debut, you're having the same conversation about what you do with Rafael Devers at that point. Trevor Story's still under contract here, right? For 2 more years beyond this upcoming one. You get into the same spot where it's like, all right, I could see Marcelo Meyer at third base. That makes a ton of sense. And then it's, do you want Devers at first? Do you want him at DH? Campbell can play second or could play left. He could play different positions, but Marcelo Meyer will bring the same conversation that Nolan Arenado or Alex Bregman bring in a year.
That makes sense too.
They're just not right. He's not a righty. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And that's where the other trades and kind of figuring out how it all fits together come into play.
He doesn't, as it stands right now, he doesn't feel like somebody that they have as a top priority. Like, I'm not getting the sense that they feel like they need Alex Bregman. He could still end up here, but when you look at it big picture wise, like you're laying out there, you have prospects, you have other guys that you're going to have under control for a while that you can also pair with other additions this offseason. My concern with the other addition category is that kind of everyone in the field and everyone in the lineup is taken right now. It's not like there's a bunch of open spots. So I'm curious of, if you talk about Teoscar, by the way, real quick, make a decision. Sign somewhere.
Hey,
I feel like he's.
Hey.
I would love it to be here, but I just feel like it's going to be LA. He's holding up a lot.
I don't think
to
it's
me,
going to be
he's
LA.
holding up a lot of stuff.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
No, I know, but
Whose
I would
fault?
just
Do
like
you
if
know?
Teoscar
He
was
should have
off
been
the
here a
board.
year ago.
Do you know?
Not like that. No, the way you're saying it.
Okay.
Any dreams, Jared?
Huh?
Any dreams on Teoscar?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What do we got?
Yeah.
You got some dreams? Okay.
I'm very plugged in on that situation.
It would just be nice if Teoscar had his team selected, because then I think we can at least start to focus on other things. And
See, that's
and
what bothers me about free agency sometimes, is that the player gets the brunt of the blame for holding things up when it's the teams. Like,
No, I know. I'm not just fully blaming him. That's more just like, come on, brother. I would love if you could pick a team. That's more me being sick of this shit a little bit. Like, the baseball offseason could just be such a pain in the ass. Like, I do go back and forth on it, because obviously in the scoop shop, we're getting a little antsy there, you know? Lou wants some moves, and I get it, and he's quote tweeting anybody to be like, what, you're not upset they're not making moves? But at the same time, it's like, I understand that it takes two to tango. I get that. I understand that you need to get the right deal. You then have other teams that counter the whole process. I understand that. But there's still a level of boredom. There's a level of just like exhaustion with the lack of moves that we just have to sit in that blows. But then I counter that with like, yeah, this is how it's built. This is how the baseball offseason has been built for a while. It's kind of always been like this. So I never want to be the one that's yelling like, how the hell are there no move? Make the moves. It's like, no, this is how it goes. You got to wait a little bit. You got to, look at the offseason in totality once you get to spring training. It's not like it's all just done by Christmas, but I would like some moves to happen sooner rather than later, but I'm still at least giving them a little bit of my patience. T made a good point.
he made a great point.
The crochet high has worn off, which it totally has. That high has worn off.
That
Those
didn't
pills,
last that long, because
It was
a
a week. It was a week.
Not
You'll
even a
feel
week.
it in spring
I feel
training
like
when
it was
he
a
makes his
couple
first
of,
start.
By the next day, we were all like, all right, you got any more of those moves, Craig? Like,
I didn't necessarily expect that weekend he was going to just be like locking a bunch of people in, but
Well,
I still felt
winter
like,
meetings.
oh, nice, it's crochet. No, I get it.
It was because of the Mariners rumor. Like that whole
that
like
didn't help.
10-hour span where you're getting the Red Sox are in talks with the Mariners for a starter. It's like, oh my God, they're about to go nuts in 24 hours. But I think for Teoscar Hernandez, like we know what he's asking for. It's 22 to 24 million for 3 years, right? So you're talking
Right.
66 to 72, whatever it may be. I think where the Red Sox are at, and this is like something that gets caught up or people aren't really thinking, what are you doing exactly with Teoscar if he signed here today? You still have Yoshida under contract here. So he's not going to be able to slot into that DH role every single day. Are you going to play him out in left field, somewhat frequently here? Because that
That's a good
reshapes
question.
the entire outfield picture
why
too.
don't you ask Lenny that question, T?
Lenny, how would you slot Teoscar into this lineup? Are we sending Yoshida
good
off and
question.
begging somebody? What are we doing?
It's a good
I
question.
love our outfield. I do not like our DH spot, right? But just because I don't like him doesn't mean he's not going to be under contract, right?
I don't think our DH spot likes us that much for what we've done to him.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. But I love our outfield overall. If you look at our outfield, as far as athleticism, as far as the youth, the numbers of years under contract, these guys are only going to get better. I feel like Duran, Rafaela, Abreu, if Abreu is going to be with us, I feel like these guys are only going to get better. And defensively, they were outstanding this past year. Are they going to hit? Because we're going to be missing some Tyler O'Neill bombs. Over 30 home runs last year. Where are we going to make those up? So you got to get those somewhere.
Papelbon thinks that's coming from fucking Rafael, apparently.
He's lost his mind.
Yeah,
What is,
he's got Rafael winning the MVP.
Lost,
I don't know
but
if you
it's
saw
more
that.
lost now. I don't know what that was
crazy
all
take.
about.
That was one of the takes of all time.
That Rafael is going to hit how many?
No, that he's going to win the MVP.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Dude doesn't even have a guaranteed spot in the starting lineup, but he's going to win MVP this year.
Learn super utility, buddy.
Hey, if he did, I tell you what, I'd love it. That means the Sox are going.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be
awesome.
Lenny,
there's no
what a
doubt.
story.
This would be awesome.
What a fucking story that would be if Cedon Rafael won the MVP this year.
I mean, this is Duran from the year before crying basically in the clubhouse after he made. Was that 2 years ago?
3.
It's coming back.
That was 2022.
Well, by next year, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so he would, coming from there to where he was this past season, completely different player, confidence-wise, skill-wise, defensive, offensive, it's just night and day. That'd be, if Rafaela could pull that. And Rafaela, he struggled at times, especially at the plate, but defensively he was solid. Again, with the number of games that he had under his belt, I feel like he's going to improve with the bat. And I feel like that has to do with his eye, just not swinging outside the strike zone as much, which has kind of been the only knock really with him at the plate. He just kind of expands a little bit too much. And big league hitters, when they know that, they're going to pitch you accordingly. They're going to dice you up.
I mean, it does, to the righty bat standpoint, it does make sense why Bregman keeps getting floated and the second base thing comes up, because it's like, boom, there you go. Righty bat, he's your second baseman. There's the veteran. Okay, boom. It checks a bunch of boxes. I understand that. It is funny, like, it took us talking about it for me to really realize, like, there would be a scenario where Christian Campbell's up here and hitting bombs. Like, that's what he does, and then he could just do that at the major league level. I was baking in the rookie stuff and the adjustment level and all of that. There is a world where he could just get that spot and be kind of a power righty bat. Not Tyler O'Neill, 31 homers, but still could be giving you some of that production that you need, especially at a position that you haven't had a consistent player at in years.
Now, if we're taking the free agent out of it, though, what about Arenado? What would it take to get him?
Ooh, would love it.
So, if I were to guess, right, Lenny,
do you know something?
Him? No.
Lenny, if I were to just guess, right, I would say that the Cardinals are asking for too much in return for Nolan, and they've got to, come down a little, be more realistic, because at the end of the day, as much as I love, respect, appreciate, and even want Nolan Arenado on my team, a trade of Nolan Arenado is a salary dump for the Cardinals. You're not looking to trade him for a significant piece. You're trading him, A, because he's telling you he doesn't want to be there anymore, and B, to get out from some sort of salary there. You're getting rid of the contract. Don't expect to get a significant piece back. You cannot trade Nolan at this point in his career, get out from under the deal, and get something sweet back in the deal. So St. Louis is there. And let's not forget, Chaim Bloom is a part of this.
Scary.
Chaim Bloom, he may not be the guy that's calling the shot, but has influence in the shot being called. Like, let's acknowledge that right now. He is involved in the decision-making process, and he's a great guy. I don't think that he's like spiteful, but he definitely has got a little bit of that dog in him where if he's going to make a trade with Boston, that he's going to want to win it. So, and I'm not blaming Chaim. This is mostly Mozeliak, right? That's his fucking name.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's not all Chaim, but like I think the Red Sox are looking at it as like, fuck, like we can't really make a deal with Chaim. Like, that would be a bad look, like, because Chaim knows the system better than Craig, and I think that's where they're at, like sort of like a stalemate. Because
the Yoshida swap clearly isn't on the table with the way that Astros trade looked.
Nope. T had a great report today where Nolan didn't want to go to the Astros. T had that one. So he already exercises no trade clause to not go to the Astros. That was news that we found out today.
Yeah, public.
Just found out today.
We just found that out today. So I think that's what the holdup is that the St. Louis Cardinals are being a little unrealistic. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know, because I would be thrilled with either guy coming here. I love both players.
It should be like a Cody Bellinger-like return.
Cody Petite.
Exactly.
What about if we just traded Josh Winkowski?
Yeah, straight up. Arenado,
Yeah.
and then they eat half the contract? Of course.
Yeah.
That
Something
sounds
like that.
good. I don't think in the Arenado
Heim
discussions we've had, we probably haven't mentioned the Heim factor enough.
I don't think we've mentioned it at all.
Yeah, it probably came up very briefly. Coley was like, "Oh, Heim, by the way." It's like, yeah, we'll keep it moving. It's like, no, that's a very valid point that if they're trying to make a deal with St. Louis, are essentially texting their ex-girlfriend like, hey,
He's not, by the way,
what's going on?
I want to stress, he's not the guy that is.
No, I know, but there's still.
He's in the room. He's part of it, but he's not
going
the
to
guy
not have a say. He's not going to not be involved in this deal. There's no way his hands would be completely clear of that. So, the Heim thing is interesting because I'm sure I'd be willing to guess that he feels a type of way about how things ended with the Red Sox. And, if that's going to then go down, even if he's not the top guy making the call over there, he would have all the insight or the majority of the insight as to what would be coming back and what he thinks is a fair deal. And then maybe what he would want to make that deal considering what happened here. But on Arenado real quick, though, I am interested to see that report today that we just found out today that the Cardinals would be willing to eat, what, $20 million? What's left on the deal?
The Athletic had it at 15.
15 to 20, right? I think it said 15 to 20.
Yeah.
So I went with the bigger number because it's better
What's
for discussion.
he making, 32?
What's the deal? What's he got left, T?
So if you look at it with the money the Rockies are eating and deferred money, it's roughly $60 million over the next 3 years. So
the
if
crazy thing is they have to eat it too. People don't talk enough about that. You have to literally eat the money, which sucks.
So
with
with the
like,
Cardinals,
Matilda.
Katie Wu thought they were eating $5 million a year, so it'd be like 3 years, 45. That the Red Sox would be
he's
taking
making
on the
$32
books.
million in 2025, $27 million in 2026.
Rockies are sending $10 million over already. That was part of the last contract, and then there's about $12 million deferred.
So you'd have $15 million a year for Arenado at third, right? That's how that would go?
It comes out to about $345 with all that money language, put together.
I don't hate that at
With
all.
what the
There's
Cardinals
a lot
are
of
eating.
people. All I gotta say, there's a lot of folks in the mentions that are very anti the Red Sox getting Nolan Arenado, and just careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for with the alternative there. I don't think it's anywhere near the reaction that people have had as to how he would play in Boston, how he would fit on this team, and how I think he immediately makes you better, top to bottom. There's more in that bat than people talk about.
But that's the question, right? And you start to wonder, what's the next move after Arenado? Is it Devers at first base, which I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable with as you have that conversation? You want to talk about improving defense? A lot of people believe that he wouldn't be a great first baseman, and Lou Merloni's on the other end of it. For me personally, you talk about it. I look at Rafael Devers as a guy who not only struggles to kind of move on from errors. You look at his error total last year, 9 of them were fielding, 3 of them were actually throwing. When I've seen Raffy, it seems like he has a hard time, carrying the field over to the plate. If he's struggling in the field, he struggles to hit.
It's gotta be super heavy.
You're involving him in 90% of infield plays, a guy you're trying to keep healthy and right. He's not the first guy I would love to see at first base on a regular basis, especially if you're trying to improve. Then you're following the same path.
You know what, T?
They said
They said the same thing about Hanley. He was great over there.
Yeah,
he was.
If
Hanley
Rafael
was
Devers
also a
is the
shortstop.
first baseman, I think he rips his nuts. You gonna rip his nuts? Yeah,
Christian Arroyo
reaching
style.
out for the ball. Yeah,
There you go. That's exactly.
No, seriously, that was the first thing I thought of. I think if Raffy's the first baseman,
Christian Arroyo ripped his nuts.
He basically
Yankee
ripped his
Stadium.
nuts. Yeah, that was like the first inning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they had him play first, and I'm like, Arenado, Arroyo's at first. Like, what's going on here? And he ripped his nuts. I think that first inning. So I'm just saying, Rafael Devers is going to have there's going to be some stretching play, and he's going to be rolling around on the ground. I'm just telling you. I'm letting you know what's going to happen if he's the first baseman. The amount of people that think that's going to just go smoothly and be a non-problem, I can't wrap my brain around it. It's crazy.
Well, and you also add in, it's December 18th right now. He hasn't been working out at first base at all. So, this isn't something he's spent an entire offseason working on or kind of building up on. But Lenny, I think, is someone who's actually played. Do you think that transition as a guy who played third base over to first base, should it be seamless? Should it be something that, maybe the regular fan overthinks?
I honestly feel like Devers would be fine at first base. Again, what you guys were talking about makes sense as far as stretching. He's not the imposing figure that Costas is. He's going to be a smaller target for guys to throw to. But yeah, I mean, you're talking very physical in the lower body. You have to be very, very flexible to go out and get these balls. You got to make picks. But I feel like I agree with Luke. I feel like he'd make the transition. He would be fine. It wouldn't take too long for him to be comfortable over there, because you've seen him make some super athletic plays at third base. The ball's
just too rare. It's too rare.
I mean,
now you're going to be involved in every infield play. You're going to be in every infield play now. I don't want Rafael Devers involved in every play in the infield.
Why?
I really don't.
If you're telling me Devers is making
more
a pick
engaged though, like that. If you
got to be engaged at the hot corner. He's already engaged.
If the concern is that, like, when he makes a bad play, that he takes himself out of it, and it's a situation where he either has to do
errors
something
in bunches.
It could become mental. It could become an issue, and they stack on top of each other. Again,
not
it's more
at first base. Not at first base.
There's an outside chance it works. I'm not saying there's a 0% chance, but I'm more looking at the alternative of I'd way rather have Casas there, and then really anybody else you're going to put there. I'd rather have
Casas is a defensive wizard all of a sudden.
No,
he's great at stretching. He's a big stretch guy for bad throws.
I'll take Casas every day.
He's a big target, but I feel like if there's any errors at first base, it's not that they throw over your head; it's that they one hop it and he can't pick it.
I'd also believe that he could get better at first. Like I mentioned on the show, Raffy's played over 8,000 innings at third. Like, that's who he is at third. It's not going to change. That's the guy he is in the field. I don't think it's going to massively change overnight.
I don't even want him to play first. I want him to DH.
I know, same.
We're all on the same page on that front. Yeah.
That would be ideal.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Just DH, dude.
But that's part of this whole thing. It's also the Yoshida conversation again. But if you're moving Devers to first and you're saying, hey, we have Nolan Arenado at third base, let's move Casas, you're taking out, I think, what is your second best bat in terms of ceiling in that lineup. I think it's Rafael Devers and it's Tristan Casas. You go back to what Tristan Casas was in the second half of 2023. He was one of the best hitters in baseball. You need to find a way to replace that long-term production. That was a guy they plugged into the middle of their lineup and they were trying to sign to an extension last spring. So, like, where are you making up that difference? It's awesome to improve your defense. Is it worth it if you're taking that much away from your lineup and taking a risk with Devers at first base?
Another thing I'd love to know right now, we'll just stick on that path of would love to know this for the 2025 season on December 18th. Who's the first and third baseman? We've talked about it a lot, but I would just like to have that knowledge so that we can at least like build off of that and then project what we expect. But it would be good to know. Would be good to know who's on the hot corner and who's playing first. And Lenny just died.
Hey, thanks for coming out. That was Lenny DiNardo.
Lenny
Nesson. Hey.
His iPad died.
Bobby
Blue
Dahlbeck.
style.
Bobby Dahlbeck.
What team is he on?
Lenny DiNardo. What?
What team is Bob on?
The team where I'm going to punch you in the fucking face and shatter your nose if you don't shut the
Steve,
fuck
was
up.
that a mean question?
Yeah, it was.
You're breaking up, T.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Steve. Jake, you heard me. You got good connection.
Yeah, you're being a dick.
Yeah, you are being a dick.
I thought
And
maybe
you know
I
what?
missed something.
And you know what? Hey, T, you know what?
Yeah.
You've been having a tough week in the scoop shop. I'll be honest with you.
What else did I do?
I'm not gonna repeat it out here, but you know what you did.
Listen, the things in the scoop shop we can't talk about publicly.
So, but that doesn't mean that you have to talk about it at all.
If there's reports that are involving the
You're a
Red Sox that
dumbass.
are significant,
You're a
they're going to be
dumbass.
out there.
He can't decipher the two. He can't like not post the report.
That's
He
what I'm
wouldn't-
saying.
Here's the thing, Jared, and I saw what you said in the scoop shop. I went back because we were
Crazy.
getting on T, and I just joined. I was like, "Yeah, you suck, T," and I didn't even know what we were talking about. So
I got cooked by everyone in like 2 seconds.
I had to scroll up to see why we
I
were
thought I was
ripping
getting
T.
jumped.
And when I saw, I was like, "All right, Jared's not wrong, but T does T. Like he's going to it just boom.
Don't go full T.
No, but it just clicks. He's got to post that. He would never think that there's other info in the scoop shop that he needs to protect. He doesn't think that way.
Stop aggregating is what he.
He can't. That's what I'm saying. It's in his blood. It's in his blood.
Aggregating.
I'll add in, though, I don't want to say what we're talking about here. People are probably going to go to the Twitter account.
I'll
piece
say
it
it without
together.
saying it. Like, I gave T a scoop, and then he reported
I didn't report anything.
He aggregated a report that was completely false, that he knew was completely false because he had the real information from me.
Now you're making me sound like an awful person.
Well, you have an addiction to aggregation. You have an addiction because you aggregated something that you knew was false because you had the actual scoop from me.
Yes. But
Okay.
I let me finish.
No. You can
T. You cooked T.
No, I think if here's the thing. If you had the scoop from me on, say, Monday, and then someone reported it on Thursday, you can absolutely aggregate it, credit that person. You don't need to credit me because I didn't report it. I didn't put it out there. But to put out a report that you knew was false because you had the scoop, that's just now you're misleading the public.
I
can't have you mislead the public.
I don't consider it misleading. What was shared in the scoop shop at this time?
It was very misleading.
What was shared in the
report.
scoop shop at that time was, without revealing what it was like, yeah, this isn't really it. Like, and I'm letting them know this isn't it. This wasn't defined. Like, definitely
Lenny's
not
back.
it.
Lenny's back.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
Now you're
Don't worry
good.
about it, Lenny.
My phone shut off.
Don't worry about it, Lenny. I mean, shit's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all good.
sometimes phones shut off.
Mm.
That's what old people do. They die.
What did I miss?
We were actually debating because Tyler's a dumbass, and he says that Elf is a awful Christmas movie. Agree or disagree?
He chose death.
He
is thinking about this one. It's like, God, what am I supposed to say here?
I think he's insulted. He's hurt.
Say that again.
LD.
Sorry, I was frozen. Hey.
Tyler Milliken of Brockton, Massachusetts, said Elf is an awful Christmas movie. Agree or disagree?
Disagree completely. It's a great Christmas movie.
It's a great.
What's so great about it?
It's got everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the kid from A Christmas Story playing an elf. It's got Bob Newhart. It's got Will Ferrell eating old recycled gum. It's got James Caan playing his dad. It's incredible.
I just feel like he's a bother. Happy's a bother to everyone around him. He's annoying. The family doesn't want him. I don't even know if the North Pole really wanted him, if we're being completely honest here. You know, he's kind of ruining the holidays for everyone because of his own little selfish Christmas motives. I don't need it.
It's you see, you know who else was like that under that same category? Rudolph. All because he had that red nose, right? But he bounced back. He bounced back the same.
Just always sobbing. Like, listen, dude, get over it. People are clowning you a little bit. I get clowned every fucking day. Am I crying like Rudolph? Are people making a Rudolph movie?
There's a high chance. You're saying that like we can confirm that we don't know if you're crying or not. There's a chance you're crying.
Yeah, could be. See.
I cry at night.
Yeah. All right. I feel like now's a good time to ask the question. T, Christmas is next week? Jesus. Am I done? Am I done Christmas? Jake, am I done Christmas shopping?
I feel like you still got a little bit to go.
I do have a little bit to go.
It's a classic thing that you and Jake always tag team on for your family's
Well,
Christmas
I mean,
gifts.
listen, Jake is someone that anyone can buy the big, easy gift. You know what I'm saying? It's the thoughtful, sentimental gift that's the one that creates the memories, Lenny. And you know this. You're a father. You've got children. The thoughtful, sentimental gift is the one that creates those Christmas memories. So when I need some ideas, some creativity on that side of things, I ask Jake. And every year, he just nails it. Every year. I'm just like, oh, like, what do you guys want? Like a fucking brand new car, a massage chair, and like, that's not sentimental. Like that's nice. They're very luxurious gifts. But Jake brings in the creativity from the sentimental side, and that's what really drives it. That's what brings the tears, the Christmas tears. So that's why I wanted to ask you, Tyler, with Christmas just about a week away, what do you have on your Christmas list as far as the Boston Red Sox are concerned?
My number one thing, can I be ridiculous or do I have to be realistic for you?
It's Christmas. You can, wait.
I got to call time out. Wait, isn't this the bonus pod we're doing?
I thought that too. That's why I hesitated for a second.
Yeah, I think we got to save that because that's for the bonus pod. We're doing Red Sox Christmas wish list. I put it in the chat. I texted it.
Pretend like you didn't hear any of this, Lenny.
Honestly, Lenny,
We can ask
Steve-
Lenny.
Steve hates Christmas. And
Grinch.
I love Christmas.
well, you just ruined mine. You just ruined mine because now I'm not gonna get to know what Lenny's Christmas list is.
No, we can ask Lenny. Yeah.
You're gonna have Lenny like you're gonna take up 3 hours of this poor man's time.
What?
Lenny, what's on your Christmas list for the Boston Red Sox?
The Boston Red Sox?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were just talking about sentimental stuff that's from the heart.
Yep.
I'm going for the Ferrari. I'm going for the nice massage chair. I'm going for Corbin Burns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
In your
Is it-
honest opinion, is this realistic?
No.
That's real as all.
No, I don't think.
That was-
I think no. I feel like the big pitching move was Crochet, right? I feel like they're not going to get Crochet and then go out and get Corbin Burns, although that would be outstanding. But Jack Flaherty, I'd be happy. I'd be very, very happy with Flaherty in that rotation.
Do you think he has an offer, Lenny? Do you think the Red Sox have even made him an offer?
I have no idea. Do you know something?
Do you think? My gut tells me he doesn't even have one from the
Not
Red
even.
Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think a
That's
phone
the-
call? They touch base?
I can't. I don't look at phone records. T. That's an invasion of privacy.
I'm checking your gut.
That's an invasion of privacy. But
Where's
as
he
far as,
going
like,
then? Going back to Detroit? New York? Mets?
I think Baltimore. Are you rubbing
Baltimore?
yourself with a cat right now?
She found her way. She found her way into the den. This is Maybell.
Hey, Maybell.
Hey, how you doing?
She's named after Maybell Blair, the All-American Girls baseball player.
Oh, of course.
Mhm.
Does she have any takes? Does she have any takes on maybe what the Red Sox should do next?
Apparently not. She just walked away.
Okay, so yeah, she's down on Jack Flaherty talk.
Sox are done.
I'm not. I love Jack Flaherty. I think Baltimore is an intriguing option because they're going to lose Corbin Burns. Yeah, I guess the Tigers. I feel like the Tigers are looking to make a splash. I feel like the Tigers are looking to throw money at somebody. I mean, kind of what they did with Javi Baez, where it's like, all right, there's an exciting player out there. I don't know that it fits, but do you want our money? Do you want to come to Detroit?
They always seem like we got to get a gift. I don't know what it is, but we have to spend a certain amount of money on this.
Like
they pop
Prince
up enough in the
Fielder.
rumors.
They were just like, I don't know. Do you want our money? I don't know.
They just want the opening day program guy. Obviously, they already have him, but they want multiple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Tigers. But man, I'm still kind of bummed about Max Fried. I know like with the whole infield defense being a disaster thing, maybe it wasn't the best fit. But I don't know. I love the guy. I wish he was here, and it sucks seeing him being a Yankee. Sucks seeing him lose all of his aura. Signing the contract, looking like a 13-year-old altar boy. It was.
By the way, real quick, so they do the intro presser, right? They do the whole, and you had Boone and Cashman giving flowers to the wife and
Making
I'm
up for
like,
the
this
Juan
is-
Soto thing.
that was like the fakest thing ever. They did not want to do that. That is not Yankees at all. So great work. We saw right through it. But why didn't we do that for Crochet? What's
I
the
can't
like?
even
believe it.
Thank you,
I can't
John.
even believe it.
I can't even believe it. Why didn't we have the intro presser for the ace of our staff? He's on a Zoom, right? I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe he was busy. I don't know.
I missed
He
that.
said he was coming
When's
to
the last
Fenway in a
time
week. I would have
When's
waited
the
a
last
week.
time we had one of those? When's the last time we had the guy
In
holding the
person?
jersey up and
Devers.
in person?
No.
Devers extension.
Yeah.
Well,
It
he's going
was
to be
Devers. It
here.
was
What is
Devers.
it? The 11th is when they're doing that little Winterfest thing.
I
December
guess,
11th?
but
So I
like
think he's gonna
seeing
be
them
there.
introduce Freed, it was like, I wish we just had that like a week ago. I think then the pills wouldn't have worn off. If we got like the jersey a couple days later, him holding it up and then answering the questions in person, I think the Crochet high would have lasted a little longer than it did.
Do you
I
think
can't
that was up
remember
to
how
the Red
excited
Sox?
people were for Yoshida's. People were getting off on that.
What?
Maybe he didn't want to get to Boston at this time though. Maybe he had some stuff going on. He was going to come here already next month.
Maybe.
Could have been him.
It's just good to ride the wave, right? It's good to like,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, you get the deal. You don't get the deal though. You get the trade done. Hopefully they get the extension done. But still, it would have been nice, for the visuals, get all the photos, get all the, good vibes going around Fenway. Needed it.
Maybe for the extension. Lenny, are you giving Garrett Crochet an extension before he throws a pitch for the Boston Red Sox?
Before he throws a pitch?
Yep.
We've got him this year. We've got him next year. I don't think it's their MO to really do that at this point, right?
They did it with Porcello.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? What year was that?
15.
That was Dombrowski?
That was one of Dombrowski's first moves, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like different era. I feel like it's different now. Dombrowski was not afraid to go out there and spend.
It was also like $82.5 million. That's going to be like the first 2 years of his fucking contract.
And there's levels to it, but we know how heavy they were chasing extensions last spring. Like they handed one out to Ceddanne Rafaela, which I still think was pretty aggressive. But Brian Bello got one. Obviously, Crochet's farther along here, but they would have had Tristan Casas if Casas wasn't trying to break the bank.
They gave one to Brian Bello. Garrett Crochet's father got one. I was like, what? Why?
They extended Crochet's dad already. It was just an easier deal to get done. So he's going to be here.
He's going to be here for a long time if Garrett's here. But I mean,
it's actually kind of smart. Yeah, we signed your dad. Where are you going to go?
Exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. We have your dad like literally locked in Fenway. You're going to leave?
Yeah. Where are you going, pal? Nowhere. Sign the contract.
They sign his mom next. Like, what's going on here? This is getting weird, dude.
I mean, signing his dad to an extension, that's big time.
Yeah. But, sign his dog. If you sign his dog, that might be the next move. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see that in other organizations.
No.
Red Sox are changing the game. It's an ever evolving game. That's what it is. Red Sox are ahead of the curve. Just like Blue Moon is ahead of the curve, Lenny. You a Blue Moon guy? You love Blue Moon.
I like an orange in my drink every now and then.
Oh,
yeah.
Buddy, do we ever? Because, what was that?
You know this. When I went on to the unobstructed views, I had like a bunch of fruit in my drinks.
A bunch of yes. You had several drinks. And as I recall, one of them was a Blue Moon. Because I could smell the coriander through the monitors. Some beers can say that they're brewed for baseball, but only Blue Moon is brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball, they just go together. No beer goes better than the one that was literally born in a ballpark. Blue Moon is created at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. It's the natural choice for opening day and all season long. I went to the Blue Moon Brewery in Denver, Colorado with Mike Timlin, who lived not far away from that area. They took us down there. We were drinking Blue Moon straight out of the tap, just sucking it right out of the ground. It was quite the experience from its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander. Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that is one of a kind? Its bold flavored, bright explosion of color and iconic orange slice ritual guarantees a one-of-a-kind beer experience that is perfect for spring weather. Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color, as Lenny pointed out. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Bring the ballpark to you with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's a one-of-a-kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to see your delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter, celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I want a Blue Moon now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not something that's frowned upon at all. It is it's actually encouraged. Before we move on to the next topic, just want to give a quick shout out to Patrick James Light. Patrick James Light tied the fucking no, he didn't tie the knot. He proposed, so he's engaged to tie the knot. That's a wedding that if I don't get invited to that wedding, I mean, probably gonna have to. Tyler,
I know you're in a relationship. I know D-Train's very important to you. Could I be your +1 to this wedding? Because I know I'm not getting an invite.
If I went D-Train, there is a 0.000% chance D-Train would let me go to a wedding without her.
But with me,
even more. That's a lower percentage.
Yeah, if she was like, you got a +1 and you're not taking me, like, bye. No, I don't think that would go over well. But what if I get a +2?
So nice.
I'll ask for a +2.
Here you go.
I guess.
What do you mean? You don't want D-Train to come?
No, I love D-Train. I'd be happy, but I thought it'd be kind of a bonding trip for me and you.
Well, we can still bond, but like I also would like to not be in the doghouse at the same time.
I'll meet you in the middle.
Poor Tyler, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's painful.
That is true. Yeah, he's trying to navigate life. We're trying to teach this guy wrong from right and giving him life lessons as we go. He doesn't retain information well, Lenny. He does like, See, I don't believe that. It's almost he's kind of like I don't even know what the analogy would be, but you throw 100% at him and maybe 13 to 17% is going to get retained depending on the day.
That's it?
Yeah, and it's never
Sounds
like
about right.
it's never the information that is like that important either.
Okay.
Yeah.
We try our best with T too. We try to give as much advice as we can.
Yeah.
Understandable. He's still growing. He's a youngin'. I think we just call it tea time. I think that's when we typically give him little updates. I did see someone in the replies saying, geez, Tyler talks really fast. There are times Tyler does talk fast. It's probably when he's most passionate about the thing he's talking
exactly.
about.
He gets excited.
And I know, Tyler, I have a theory. Let me know if you think this might be correct.
What is it?
This is not an insult. This is just an observation.
No.
When you're on radio, you got to get your takes in as fast as you can because you could be cut off at any point.
Right.
And so I feel like you were born
true.
in that environment, and naturally that makes you talk a little quicker.
That's it. It's Tyler, shoot and shut up. That's the role I play.
Yeah.
But
more
not here,
conversational here.
Not
yeah,
here.
It's conversational. Yeah.
I'm going to talk so slow from now on.
Just slow it down, brother.
It's the exact opposite here too as well because you also have the power to interject whenever you want.
That's very true.
Yeah.
He's already talking slower.
I'm working on it. I'm growing.
Now here's the
speak.
thing. We all agree with this, right? Christian Campbell might be ready, but maybe
You guys would
he's
kill
not.
yourself if I talk that slow.
I agree. I listen. I didn't tell you to talk slower, and I'm pretty sure as it pertains to this program, I've yet to steer you wrong as far as advice is concerned.
Not once.
Not once.
It's true.
Not once. There's a hey, listen, Tyler. There's a reason why when I give you advice on this show, that every single person on Red Sox Twitter takes the advice. That's the life lesson that you need to write down.
Lenny, if you could give me one piece of advice so I don't fuck my life up, what would it be?
Good question. Good question.
Oh, don't eat the yellow snow.
Okay.
Okay.
Pig.
No, listen to these guys. These guys are pros. They've been doing it almost 600 times, right? Have you been on all 600? All 520? How many is this?
Jared's been on all of them, right?
Jared's never
518.
missed.
I've been on all 518.
I've probably been on like 460, something like that. Right? 450, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just listen to these guys. It's all about reps, right? Anything in life, it's all about reps.
Lenny knows about reps. He is fucking ripped. He is. Go check out the pic. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna find that picture. We're gonna use that as the picture for this episode. It's gonna
Lenny,
be
real quick.
Grey Wolf Lodge. Oh.
I'm gonna add a question here on top of T's question.
That's a question.
How long have you been at Nesson now? That's not the question. That's the preliminary question.
I started in 17.
Okay. So
is that 8?
anytime you're on, I'm like, oh, this is great. We got a Lenny night. Like, this is going to be awesome. And I think you're incredible at what you do. What have you learned the most along the way from 17 to now about live television and about working these Red Sox pre and post game shows?
What have I learned? Well, I started out kind of deer in the headlights in 2017. When I first started, I wasn't very comfortable. I felt like I was trying to do too much, right? Maybe a little bit too much homework, a little too much studying, getting there way, way early. And I still get there early. But I feel like my note taking has gotten just a little bit more concise. I've trusted my ability to kind of talk off the cuff rather than just, regurgitating things I wrote down 2 or 3 hours ago. And I still take a good amount of notes, but now I'll take them. They're there, but I'm not relying on them as much. Just kind of trust my instincts and be conversational versus so analytical and feeling like, okay, this is what we're talking about. I wrote this down. Let me kind of peek down and make sure I'm getting this right. Just Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Have fun with it, and it comes off way better when it's energetic and conversational versus analytical and throwing a bunch of numbers out and this and that. So,
and you can tell you're super comfy. You're super comfy when you're doing it. You can always tell.
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
I've looked at footage from back in 17 and 18, and it's cringeworthy. It's like, man, that guy, he's not comfortable.
What's cringe? What's cringe?
I'm sure it's not that bad.
I think you're great at like saying negative things without them sounding harsh or mean, but able to highlight like, hey, this could be better, or they could tweak this with their arsenal. I think you're one of the best in general at it.
Yeah, and most of the stuff, if I am negative, most of it, 99% of it is what the player would say themselves. Like he would have made that play 9 out of 10 times. He pulled his head up. That's exactly what he's going to say in a post-game interview. I put myself in a count where, I got behind. When I get behind, I have to come over the middle. Things like that. I've been there. I've done it. It happens to everybody. And the goal is to, and the player knows the goal is to move on and learn from it. So it's, you don't want to come down on a player for the game's hard. Everybody knows that. And I would never mention that on TV because everybody knows it is, but I don't like making excuses, but there are ways of saying certain things and being negative when you don't have to put the player down or try to hurt anybody's feelings.
And let's be honest, there's been a lot to be negative about the last 3 years. So I'm sure you've had a lot of, tiptoeing around how do I deliver this, but I know I got some bad news to talk about because this team once again did a shitty thing.
Yeah. Remember I said reps? I've got a ton of reps at that this past 3 seasons. You learn how to do that.
I'd be thinking, I'll go for it.
Has a player ever gotten upset about something that you said?
Wow, Jerry, I'm telling you.
No one's ever came to me and said anything. No one's ever mentioned it to me. But if they did, I all right.
Oh my God.
This is my cat.
She's like, that ain't true. You got to remember.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth, Dad.
Poppy came after you.
Yeah. No one's ever brought anything to my attention as far as what I've said on air. Not yet.
I mean, you also do a good job of not saying anything problematic. Like you don't say anything that it's like, whoa. Like Eck would go for the throat.
Wade Miley.
Yeah, like Eck would go for the throat.
A lot of the appeal with Eck was, man, he's gonna say if he didn't like something, if he didn't like someone's antics on the field, he was going to go full force at that guy. And you respect that. You respect the candor and just the way he goes about. Who was it? Was it Wade Miley? He said, "You just got your lunch.
Got your lunch. Get out of here.
Get out of here." Brilliant TV. It was brilliant TV. And I don't know if I had that in me to say that at the time, to come up with something like that. It was really, really good.
Yeah. But he's got that shield though. Like if you have the Hall of Fame plaque, you can say whatever the fuck you want, pretty much.
You're right. Yeah.
He kind of says this stuff like, come talk to me about it. If you want to have a conversation, like, sure, come talk to Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Famer, about me critiquing you for giving up like 4 bombs. Like, come on. I don't think he was ever too like over the top. I think his reactions could be aggressive, but I never thought it was unwarranted based off of what was going on. It was typically if somebody, upstaged the manager or did something that was a little bit out of line that he would call him out. So
and he was an excellent reliever and starter. So you can't, if you're a reliever, you can't be like, yeah, man, like congrats on the Cy Young and all that shit, but you don't know what it's like in the bullpen. It's like, no, I do. Like I know what it's like to prepare as a starter. I know what it's like to live the life of a reliever. Like shut the fuck up. Like yes. And I know what it's like to win a World Series. Like I've done it all. I'm in the Hall of Fame. Like go fuck yourself.
I feel like for me, especially because I was not a Hall of Famer, I failed quite often. Just missed it. I failed often enough to be able to speak to that in a sense. Like I know what it feels like to get your lunch. You know what I mean? I've had some success, but it was a struggle at times. I feel like, with the type of pitcher I wasn't blowing doors off with my fastball. I had to make the ball move. I had to put it on the ground. I had to work my ass off in order to get there and stay there for a little bit. So, to be able to speak to having success and failure and not downing anybody for it. Now if someone's not hustling or something like that, that's unacceptable. But that doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't at that level. But on-field play, if something happens, there are ways to go about talking about it without hurting anybody's feelings, without making it seem like they were dogging it or anything like that.
That makes sense. As he dogging it as he's petting a cat. I like that. I like that. We've taken up 2 hours of your time, Lenny. You need to get back to your life, but before you do that, do you have any words of encouragement for these addicts on the internet that I'll tweet about? Like, I could tweet that I'm going to get a blue vanilla slush, and the replies on Twitter, people being like, "What does that mean? Who are they signing? Like, what are you trying to tell us?"
Bregman for that slush?
Yeah. Like these people are fiends for Red Sox offseason updates. What would you have to say to the fans of the Red Sox that are just hoping, praying that something is going to happen this offseason and they want a winning baseball team in 2025? What are you saying to these folks?
I feel like if they're absolutely done right now and they don't make another big substantial move, they're already going to be better than they were last year. So there's optimism, there's hope. Now, I'm not saying they are done. I'm in that category where I'm hoping and praying that they do more as well. I hope they make a couple more big splashes as far as the starting pitching, as far as bolstering the defense in the infield. I feel like they need to do that. But even if they don't, again, there's a lot to be optimistic about with having Crochet, having a healthy Giolito, having Trevor Story start the season healthy, right? Having Chapman in the bullpen with a healthy Liam Hendricks anchoring at the end of it, having a healthy Garrett Whitlock, having Justin Slayton in his second big league season. There's a lot to look forward to as long as they stay healthy. They're going to be a better team than last year.
I like that. And I'm with you. I'll join you in that. I'll join you in the belief that they're not done. And I will join you in the belief that they will be better in 2025 than they were in 2024. And that is not something that I really thought much of this team this year. I didn't think they were a winning ball club. They weren't. So
yeah, still got time in the offseason, guys.
Still got time. Plenty of time in the clock.
Lots of time.
It's not even Christmas.
Don't lose your mind. We still got time.
We got time.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Still some big fish out there. Still some big fish out there.
Huge fish.
T, you got a last question for Lenny?
I don't think I do.
He had some good questions.
Yeah, T had some good questions. Steve?
Yeah.
T, I thought you did great, T, first of all.
Yeah, great work,
I
T.
needed that 17% stuff and
I needed that.
No, my question, I kind of alluded to it before we hopped on here, but if you had one piece of memorabilia behind you that's your favorite, what is it?
Man,
there's a lot back there.
It's a great setup.
I've got a lemon peel baseball from the 1800s. That's pretty cool. My Eddie Vedder backstage pass signed was pretty cool. Ooh. I got some. Out of anything in this, though, it's a picture of me and my dad right there. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, look at that. That's great.
That's my prized possession right there. But yeah,
let's see if it was a baseball thing, though.
A baseball thing? Oh man, my Ted Williams bat.
Oh, what?
I got a Ted Williams signed bat right there.
There you go. That's
an
impressive.
04 signed baseball. I mean, there's
was the 04 signed baseball? Did you collect the signatures yourself?
I can't remember, to be honest. I'm not sure if it was like picked out of here, everybody gets one of these. But Jared, you'll like this. There's a piece of, it's not baseball, but it's memorabilia. It's a piece of signed notebook paper from like school that says, "To Michael," which is my dad, "my hairy friend, be cool, your hairier friend, John." Now, who do you think signed that? Who's your dad's favorite group?
That's the Beatles.
John.
That's John Lennon?
It's a signed piece of notebook paper in the early 70s. My aunt, who was in elementary or middle school at the time, got it signed from my dad. He was traveling around Miami looking for Yoko's daughter at the time. So she got it signed from my dad, and he gave it to me.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Is it in what do you have it saved in?
A little piece of like plastic, basically. It's not encapsulated or anything.
I mean, I would get that like framed and matted. Like there's got to be like, you could probably get some photo that you can go to. I got a frame guy, Lenny. Yeah. I got a frame guy. I got a frame guy. If you want to like put it together in a nice little piece to be able to hang up on the wall, because I'm about to get the Section 10 jersey night thing, because I got all the signatures. The only one I'm missing is Pat Light. I need Pat Light to sign the jersey, but I have everyone else that signed it, and I want to get that framed and matted and all that. Maybe I'll throw a twofer in for you.
All right. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Appreciate that. Yeah. Me up with your guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's got a guy. You got a guy. I got a guy. We got a guy.
Bada bing.
That's Lenny DiNardo. Thank you so much for carving out 2 hours of your time to talk baseball the week before Christmas. I know that that's not probably something that you're used to around this time of year, but this is what we do, baby. This is the Lenny DiNardo Section 10 debut, which to me did not realize that he hadn't been on, or else we would have done this a long time ago.
We got to hit the claps.
Let's not wait another 500 plus, okay? Till it's like I'm back on here.
Episode 1036, Lenny DiNardo.
Thank you, Lenny.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Lenny.
We'll see you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a hell of a debut. Hell of a debut. What was better, this debut or your Major League debut?
Oh, my Major League debut. I'm sorry, guys. This is
what was your pitching line?
This is a good second.
Couldn't even lie.
What was your line? What was your line?
This is a good second. My line?
Yeah.
Pitched the 9th inning. I faced, let's see, Gary Sheffield, Hideki Matsui, and Bernie Williams.
Oh.
I got a ground out to third, a strikeout, and a ground out to third.
Wait, so Gary Sheffield was your first career punchy?
No, Matsui.
Oh, Matsui. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Sheffield and Bernie to ground
huge
out.
porn addict. Did you know that?
I did not.
Oh, yeah. Loves it. Yep. 55,000 tapes, he said. This is always my favorite thing. Let me see. Hideki Matsui porn collection. This is always my favorite thing to
and we're going to get you out of here on this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get you out of here.
I'm gonna give you this number real quick.
Yeah, I just want
He's
you
got
to
like
know
a collection
I want you to know how vast. Yeah, I was right.
It's all public record.
55,000 videos, Lenny.
You're talking VHS, because Blu-ray, DVD.
I believe VHS. Yeah, when you think of Hideki Matsui, you might recall his powerful swings in the World Series, his consistent performance in the middle of the Yankees lineup, or his status as a baseball icon in both Japan and the United States. But there's another side to Matsui that fans might not be as familiar with. His extensive pornography collection, a second-to-none collection reportedly consisting of 55,000 adult videos.
This is real.
Yes.
That's incredible.
That was your first big league punch out. Was a pervert.
He must have been tired.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
My goodness. All right.
50. Yep.
Didn't need to know.
Didn't need to
take that
on
with me
that
tonight.
note, Lenny. Have a good night.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Take care. See ya.
Oh. Lenny DiNardo. Yeah, I mean, I wanted him to know. I wanted him to know.
Like, I feel like on PTI they always go like, and we'll get you out of here on this. That's basically what we just did. We'll get you out of here on this. It was 55,264 porn tapes. So the guy you struck out is a big time.
But this was at the end of his career?
Huh?
Also, where are you ordering these? You're just some shipping 55,000 tapes?
Like,
I don't know.
He was playing ball and doing this. What happened when he stopped playing ball?
And these are videotapes. It's not like a video archive. So if you like had a favorite, you can't even like search it up. You got to be like,
he definitely spent the time labeling these, right? I'm sure they had sections and stuff. That makes it even weirder.
Jake, book Hideki Matsui.
We got to find out.
We got to find out what the hell is going on with that. 55,000. Come on with that.
And they're definitely tapes.
Tapes.
The image that Deadspin used is interesting.
What's the headline?
He must love the internet, bro. That must have been such a game changer for him.
He's like, I don't need to rent an apartment to store all my porn tapes anymore. This is amazing.
When this guy realized the internet exists, that had to be the best day of his life.
Oh man,
and he got
also the worst.
He was the World Series MVP.
He was the MVP, right?
Yeah, he was the MVP.
I think he was the MVP.
I think he was the MVP in 09.
Yeah. He didn't just get a ring. I'm pretty sure he was the MVP.
I think he was the MVP. If I'm Brian Cashman You know, and I first signed this guy. I'm like, hey, we don't give this guy a World Series bonus. We give him just porn tapes. Like, hey, if you win the World Series and you're the MVP, 25,000 porn tapes to this guy. And that's more to him than whatever the bonus would be in some guys' contracts, right?
It's gotta be. I was like praying for his sake these were DVDs or Blu-rays or something,
Tapes.
just from
VHS.
a storage standpoint.
Nope.
Granted, once you get over like 1,000, where the hell are you storing anything?
Who counted that?
55,000.
55,000 reported.
Who found him? By the way, who found him?
Probably his wife. I think he's married.
Oh.
Imagine.
You can't
it's
be
like,
married and just
that's his
store
thing.
55K
Hey,
tapes under a bed.
maybe
Like,
she's
what-
in the
My
industry.
husband's into bowling. My husband's into carpentry. My husband is into has 55,000 pornography VHS tapes. Some people just have different interests, you know?
I guess. I mean, that's got to be close to every porn ever. Are there that 55K? Like, how many tapes exist?
Yeah.
That's probably what it was. He wanted to get every single scene ever, and I think he accomplished that. And then his
Sure.
wife found out, and he's like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is every
It's
scene
art.
that's, like, ever been made, so I
Mhm.
need to keep these.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
crazy.
collection. Yeah, it's like Pokemon. But
Yeah. I'll never look at that hit the same where there's the interference off of Pedro. Not like we look at it good, but I'm going to look at it even weirder now.
yeah, he was
knowing this
jerking off. He was jerking off before and after that happened. Like immediately.
How many games did he DH? T, you know that?
Oh, he was
Whoa,
definitely
whoa,
jerking
whoa.
off in between
That's what I'm saying.
at bats. Yeah.
When they put him at DH, he's like, oh, this is so awesome.
This is awesome. I could just go up there, rope a double, come in, jerk off, get a base hit, jerk off. Yeah.
Every inning. He probably had the every inning challenge. I bet he did that.
I'm surprised he even agreed to play the field. He just, if I were him, I'd be like, listen, I understand, like, I'm not that bad defensively, but I am a DH because here's
Wow.
here's a little thing about me. What?
493 games at DH in his career.
Oh my
Mhm.
god,
That's a lot of nuts.
Yeah, that is an exponential amount of nuts. Yeah,
You double that up. He's almost at 1,000 career nuts while playing in big league games.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
42% of his career was
like not
can't
even
just bust
joking. Not even joking. You know he was doing that during games.
Oh, that's why I asked. It wasn't like, oh, maybe he did. He definitely did. And when he saw the lineup, he was definitely pumped about it. Like that made his day. I'm sure he had the whole setup in the Yankees clubhouse and everything. Jeter was like, he gets big hits for us though. So
Listen, you look at when he was playing in left field, hitting 291 with an 847 OPS at DH. It was 266 with a sub 800 OPS.
it's right next to Jeter's locker, the whole VHS setup.
drained.
Yes,
Like,
nothing
he's
left.
Fucking,
I don't know.
I mean, he's
Might
the
be the
World Series
MVP,
MVP. You know,
Yeah.
like, what are we gonna do? Tell him he can't do this? That's part of his routine.
He's got to do it.
I'd let
He's
him
got to do it. He's got to do it. Yeah. So, World
Lenny
Series
DiNardo.
MVP.
Yeah.
I would love to, get him on the podcast and talk about it. I mean, I'm sure he'd be very excited. I mean, you don't have a collection like that unless you're very passionate about the art.
He's too passionate.
That's a lot of passion. You get to
Like, we don't want
that's
that
a
little
lot
passion
of-
on it. YouTube's not
a lot
allowing
of
that.
passion. Yeah.
What's he doing? How old's Hideki Matsui? at this
3
point?
My
hour
guess-
pod for him is a long time.
He's got to
That's a ton.
be 51.
I was
51 is
about-
my guess.
oh, no, if you didn't
50.
finish, you were correct. Yeah,
50.
50. There you go. Did he just turn 50? When's the birthday? We do birthdays on this pod.
Oh,
June
June
12th.
birthdays.
June 12th. There you go. 1974. He's 50.
1970. He's 50. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Happy 50th birthday, by the way, to Hideki Matsui.
His 50th birthday was right around when the Celtics did it.
They did it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Yeah. What
It was
did they
June
win on?
14th, and it was 2 days before they did it.
Oh, he probably loved it too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know he was watching other stuff, but this guy's got notes. He's just turning plans down. You know what I'm doing. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
have
like,
time to do
he made
anything
it out for the
else.
World Series for the Yankees.
Imagine
and
like
threw
you
out the
get
first pitch.
married and you're going through your contact list and you're like, do we invite him or not? Like he's gonna be jerking off. Like I don't
He's
know.
gonna
like,
be doing it. No,
yeah.
just don't. I stopped.
What do you
stopped
think he was
replying.
doing on 9/11? Like, you think he took a day off?
No,
I don't think so either. There's no way you have 55,000 tapes and like that was enough to slow you down. No. There's passion and then there's passion.
Was he? I mean, he was playing, right?
He was in Japan still.
Did he play on 9/11? Let's find that out.
He was in Japan still because his rookie year was what, 03, right?
Yeah, 2001. Matsui hit 333 with a 1081 OPS. He was
locked in.
You know what that means?
Yeah, yeah,
prime nutting.
Yep.
I gotta find.
You know what that means?
Did he play on 9/11? We gotta find this up.
Yeah,
we got MPB game logs.
I can't. The game log's tough. It just shows season stats.
I feel like. Was that enough to stop the world in Japan too? I don't know. I don't.
That's
think
what I'm saying. They probably played like, that's terrible. Like we're gonna play this game though because we're in Japan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That seems like a long moment of silence, and then you play. What do you got to?
Yeah,
it was actually a troubling day. There were 24 Japanese citizens who lost their life in 9/11.
Oh, so then maybe they did stop play.
Yeah, they might have, or maybe a longer moment.
Who
of silence.
could we ask? Who would know? Who do we know that's like a Japanese baseball aficionado?
Nobody? I don't know.
I feel like Joe.
He's probably
Joe might know.
There's a Twitter account that's really good about that stuff too.
Why does this only go back to 2003? It shows you that he played.
Because those are his big league stats.
Right. Yeah, that was the easiest question of all time. I just want to make sure you knew. I knew the answer to that.
I don't know that they have
the biggest layup question. Why? Because that was his rookie year in the majors. You moron. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand. I can't compute it.
Now I want to know, how did we get here? All because it
was his first K. It was Lenny's first K.
I asked Lenny DiNardo, was this appearance better than your big league debut? And now we're trying to find out if they played baseball in Japan on 9/11.
Gaijin Baseball. That's the Twitter account. He's like the MPB history YouTuber.
All right, well, that's not going to help us with this question.
We're talking history. This guy is made for it.
I guess.
Respect.
Is there anyone we can call right now that would know this? There probably isn't.
Pat Light.
No. Was it Yomiuri, right? Yomiuri Giants?
Yeah, that's the
All
team.
Right, 2001 Yomiuri Giants game log. How do they're a big enough deal to have a game log, right?
Dude, you can't. I was looking for highlights the other day of Yoshida versus Roki Sasaki for 3 hours, and I could not find anything. It was driving me mad. This is just a couple years ago.
Damn it.
Is there
It's
like
over.
We need to know this.
like now I'm invested.
Did they play on 9/11 in Japan?
Yeah, I gotta know.
You gotta know. Jake, what do you think? Yeah, you leaning yes, you leaning no. What do you?
Yeah,
where are you leaning
what's
here?
your gut tell you, Jake?
They just love playing ball over there. I feel like they probably figured it out.
Yeah,
I don't know though because
my gut tells me
time
long
difference.
moment of silence. What
Time difference.
What time was it?
Well, it's like 6. Is it 9 behind? What's the Japan right
what
now?
time is it in Tokyo?
Oh,
It's 12, 11. Wait.
Oh. What are they? 14 hours ahead of us?
Oh, they're 14.
yeah, they're on to the next day. It's the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, right. I thought they were behind. It's like, no,
it's-
you got to wrap around the globe.
Their
to
day
get
was
to them.
wrapping up. They were going to bed.
It was already September 12th.
Regular ass day.
They didn't give a fuck on 9/11. They were they lived
And
a
in their
completely
defense,
normal day.
did nothing happen in 9/11
No,
globally for Japan?
I don't.
It's 9/12 for them.
Is it 9? They used to call it 9/12.
That's a great question. Did they play baseball on 9/11 in Japan? Who can answer this?
We can't end the show until we
No,
find out.
we gotta
if they
find
play.
someone. We gotta find someone.
In a rare
You know
turn
what?
of events, I don't care if this goes 3 hours. We
I'm
gotta
calling,
find out.
I'm calling Joey, because like he may not know right now, but I feel like he has like his own fucking research team. He's got to be able to find the answer. This is Joey of Baseball is Dead.
They played September 26, 2001.
How
What?
many hours ahead?
Joe.
Yeah.
All right, we're recording section 10 right now.
Yeah.
And
What's up?
all right, so I'm going to try and make this quick. We went down a rabbit hole where somehow we ended up on, we want to find out if they played baseball in Japan on 9/11. Like, was 9/11 big enough in Japan to where they stopped play in professional baseball? I'm assuming you don't know the answer to this off the top of your head, but out of all the people I could think of, you're the guy that would be able to find out the answer.
I could look it up.
All right, dude.
I don't
That's
fucking
all.
know.
I know you. All right, that's fine. Like, it's fine that you don't know. Like, I wasn't expecting you to know, but
Okay.
out of everyone that I know, I feel like you were the guy that could find out. Steve, you have something?
If my math is right, and I think this might answer our question here now, but it's probably going to become a 9/12 question
Mhm.
because the first plane I think hit
It's like 9 something.
10:46 p.m. in
That
Japan.
doesn't feel correct. It was in Japan.
I think they're 14 hours ahead.
Yep.
So I think
It was like 10
the
o'clock
North
at night.
Tower got hit at 10:46 Japan time p.m.
So they were already done playing baseball.
I
So
think
this
it was around the end of the game. They were probably finding out in the clubhouse.
Yeah. So all right, Joe, what we need to know is, did they play professional baseball in Japan on 9/12/2001?
Mm. Dude, I don't even know how you would look that up, to be honest.
You know what this is? It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where you phone a friend and you know they don't know. Like right off the bat, they're like,
Yeah, I don't
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just buying time at this point.
Like 10 seconds.
I have no idea.
It's like,
No.
burp, burp. Yeah.
All right. Looks like they didn't give you
I'm
that
in the-
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hate to put you, to fucking let you guys down, but I'm in the car right now. I don't even know how you would look that up. Looking up Japanese shit like that is tough sometimes. I don't know. There's no like Japanese baseball reference that is easy to Google Translate, so it can be tough finding little specific stats like that.
Yeah.
I do commend you for trying to find the truth, and I'm glad you guys are covering this because that is a question, and no one even talks about it.
No,
No one talks
no.
about this at all. No one's ever talked about
I've never heard anyone ask the question.
Let me tell you, I'm driving right now, but we need answers. Like,
Yeah.
you're asking the right questions.
You're asking the right questions. You're not getting any answers from me, but that you're barking up the wrong trees. Or the right trees.
The right trees.
The
You're
right
barking up
trees.
The right trees.
The right trees.
Oh.
I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching Japanese broadcasts on 9/11 right now. Hold on.
Okay. Are they playing baseball?
No, they're showing the towers.
All right.
Lots of
Oh,
towers.
it's got to be the
Ball.
late show, right? The late news.
Yeah. The late show.
T, is it dark? Do they have a dark background?
No,
Yeah.
it looks bright.
But Joe, I mean, like at this point, you've done enough content on Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto. Like, have you developed contacts in the Japanese baseball world at this point?
There's a couple Japanese English-speaking YouTubers who I DM, Yaku Cosmopolitan. There's another guy, Jim Allen, I believe is his name, who's the same thing.
Jim Allen.
Those guys-
Jim Allen is a Japanese baseball YouTuber. Jim
He's a
Allen.
white dude. He's
no
a white-
shit, he is. No shit, Joe.
He's a blogger, and he lives in Japan, I believe.
All right,
And
that's
he knows
fine.
his
But
shit.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not going there. I'm just saying. Jim
I will
Allen.
say, all right, can I say something before you let me go?
Yep.
I don't know the answer,
like,
but I
"Please
will
let me
give
go."
you a 95% probability they played on 9/12.
You think 95%
95
chance
high.
they played on 9/12?
I agree.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, come on, it's Japan. It's not their fight.
I know, but there were Japanese Americans that were among the casualties.
If I were to guess, it was a long
probably.
moment of silence, and they played on 9/12. I don't know if I'm at 95. I can't go that high.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet you somewhere at like 63%, maybe. I'm still gonna go above 50, but 95. You're
Well,
almost damn
question.
near guaranteeing baseball at 9/12. Steve?
Do we know how many Japanese players were on the Yankees and the Mets on September 11, 2001? Because then they might feel more of a connection to
Ooh.
the terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, look that up.
This is the stuff people have been asking, but like no one's been really digging into it.
no
And we
one's doing the
finally are doing it.
research. Yeah, it's like, who's the Zodiac Killer? Did they play baseball in Japan on 9/12? Don't know.
Bro, they played baseball in Japan the day after the nukes dropped. Like, I'm just telling you right now, like, they played on 9/12. I mean, these guys love baseball and they're dedicated to the sport. Knowing what I know, that's my guess.
All right. I mean,
on that note,
yeah. Thank you so much, Joe. Drive safely. Where you headed right now?
I just got to the gym.
Oh, hell yeah. Get it. Have a good workout, brother.
Will do, man.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
All right,
I'll
Joe.
talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow for the
All right, we'll
draft.
see you, Joe.
See you guys.
All right. See you, Joe.
Like, this
Let's,
field's fucked up, but we gotta play.
They just dropped a nuke on Nagasaki, but we got to play ball. We got to play ball.
Schedule says we're playing. We're playing. I don't know what to tell you. Like, go to the closest sports authority, get some new equipment. That probably got lit up too. But
Yeah. I mean, is it a scheduled off day? No? All right, so
No.
then it's not an off day. All right, that's
so
what I thought.
RIP and let's get this thing going. How many died? Damn it. All right. No, we're still playing. That's a big number.
Yeah, how many people died in Nagasaki?
I fucking quit. I can't find shit, man.
Almost 20,000. Almost 20,000.
Okay.
It's like, all right,
Okay.
R.I.P. and play ball.
Boom. Let's get that first pitch going. Who's throwing the ceremonial one out? Let's get this thing going. Come on. Why haven't we started yet?
Yeah, they just love baseball.
You gotta find somebody for this ceremonial first pitch.
You're like, ground ball to the right side and through. Oh, I forgot that our first baseman got vaporized this morning. Jesus Christ.
Man. We didn't even have a field.
Yeah, that they love baseball.
They do.
In Japan. They love it. They love it.
I did it.
Did what?
I asked ChatGPT and they said yes.
That there
That's
was baseball
not
in 9/12.
trustworthy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It says yes, the MPB in Japan did play games on September 11, 2001, while the tragic events of 9/11 in the United States caused widespread cancellations
Well,
and
yeah, because
disruptions.
it was 10 something at night.
Do you want me to ask about 9/12?
Yes, Tyler, that's the whole argument. They wouldn't have happened until after the games were over. And I don't trust ChatGPT. Is that what it's called?
I don't
GPT.
trust this chat JKQ.
They also played on that day. The Yomiuri Giants played the Hiroshima Toya Carp at Mazda Stadium.
On 9/12/2001.
Yep, the MPB did not cancel or postpone any games due to 9/11. They maintained their regular schedule.
There you go.
Boom. Whew. Boom.
There you go. All right.
I'm still going to be curious about how long the moment of silence was, but we did get the answer, so that's good.
I mean, Joe nailed it with 95% there.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
95%.
The Mets had Tsuyoshi Shinjo
Yeah.
on the 0-1 team, so
Mhm.
but that didn't matter because they played on 9/12.
They did play. The show went on.
Ooh, all right. At least we know now.
Yeah. I wasn't ending the show till we got the answers that we needed.
No, we needed it.
Yeah.
We needed it.
T, you had some dumb takes about Edmanuel Valdez.
Oh, dumb takes? No.
I mean,
Important takes.
not dumb, but like kind of like who cares?
Yeah. So Emmanuel Valdez obviously DFA'd earlier in the week.
Mhm.
Joe Vygotsky from the Pittsburgh Pirates was what they ended up getting back. 19th rounder from this past summer. Not saying to go crazy or anything. He's about to be 23.
Don't.
6 feet, 215. Reliever in college his junior and senior year. Fastball gets up to 97. Slider with a strong spin rate. Tyler Jennings, who does a lot of scouting and different stuff like that, thinks his cutter is his best secondary. But yeah, that's it. It was in the Carlos Narvaez trade that led to Emmanuel Valdez being DFA'd. Omar Narvaez's cousin. Pretty weird.
Wow. Small world, huh?
That's what they say.
I still have that song stuck in my. It's a small world. What, you don't know that ride, T? You never been to Disney, T?
I have been. I went 7th grade.
You don't know It's a Small World?
No, I'm not a big Disney guy.
But you've been there, you just said.
Yeah,
go
I
into
don't
other
remember.
things,
I was
though.
just kind of chilling. Like, I don't know. I wasn't like
You
taking
just went
notes.
to Disney to chill, no rides?
I did
Didn't do the
Space
rides?
Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
He
get
just
I went
walked
to,
around.
I went to
No
Disney
rides.
to chill. Yeah.
He just
I
wanted
get
to look
sick.
at him.
I
This
have
ride's
motion
just sick,
sickness.
and then he just gets out of there.
yeah. This ride looks sick. I'm not going
Can't
on
confirm.
it, but-
I just want to see it for myself. These are cool rides. All right, I can.
yeah.
I
I
leave now.
just went there to like ask like if people were having a good time, and they love the rides. So
Yeah,
I was
he's just
vibing
interviewing
at
people
Disney.
coming off like Splash Mountain. Like,
yeah,
you like that, right? Yeah, that was sick.
you like that? Yeah, I know you liked it.
You looked like you were having fun.
I tried to do the Garrett Crochet emergency pod on Winnie the Pooh, but I lost service. I think the mouse is very meticulous. I think the mouse jams cell service at certain points. In the
Oh,
parks.
would not be stunned.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no stone unturned. That's like the number one place on the planet where everything is thought of. They factor everything into how they display Disney, what your experience is like.
Mm-hmm.
It was no error
Mm-hmm.
that you got a little glitchy there and you couldn't do it.
Yeah. They were like, this guy can't just be podcasting on the poo.
No, can't podcast on the poo.
And they made sure of it. They shut it right down. And fine, whatever. I won't podcast on the poo. And I don't know that it would have been an enjoyable experience for the viewer because there were a lot of dark areas of the poo. It
Did you
wasn't
see any
very-
of the mascots take their hats off?
They don't do that, dude.
I saw a video of Minnie
No,
doing that and
you
then
didn't.
smoking a
It was-
cigarette. And it,
That was a meme.
honestly,
Yeah,
it wasn't a meme.
It's
yeah,
probably
it
a Times
was.
Square,
I've seen
honestly.
It. I've seen it. It was not Disney.
it looked like Disney.
Never in a million years. And here's what I hear. The Disney adults, a little creepy. What's even creepier is that they call the workers cast members. I don't like that.
It's
I
not
don't
great.
like that because it means you're just acting the whole time. Like you can't even be real. You know? I don't like that. I need a cast member to break character, but they won't. They won't do that.
You tried. It's like the guards in London.
A
I've
little
always
bit,
wanted
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, a little bit. What do you think is? What do you think is more difficult to get somebody to break? What are those people called? Bobbies?
I think in London it's like an actual crime and they kill you if you laugh or react. I don't think they kill you at Disney.
Kill you.
Listen, it's pretty serious from what they
They
say.
don't kill you, T.
Do you see videos of them laughing and fucking around?
Do you see videos of them getting killed?
No.
Yeah.
They were not going to do that in front of us. They're going to kill them behind the scenes.
I don't think that's what happens, T. I think you're watching too much brain rot YouTube.
Never been to London. Never seen Big Ben.
That's going to be another hurdle for me. Going to London in late April, and I don't plan on missing a show. It's going to be like practice for having a baby. Like I'm just going to be like setting alarms for like the middle of the night to like wake up and podcast and go back to
Dude,
bed and try to make it
It'll
all
be
work.
like 08.
It was not easy doing those, Jared, when I was in Ireland.
I remember that. Those podcasts sucked.
They weren't great. Because
What
the time difference is crazy. The games would start at midnight there. It's a 5-hour difference.
Let's see. What?
So we
time
recorded at like
is it
3
in
a.m., I think, with Smitty.
London. Yeah, fuck my fucking face, man. It's 3:30 in the morning. It's 10:30 here. It's 3:30
Yeah,
there.
it's a 5-hour difference.
Oh,
Dude, that's gonna
Dude, when we were there,
suck.
first pitch was it. I'm telling you, every night it was midnight first pitch. It was tough.
So Yeah.
It's going to be the same. Yeah. It's you can carry
There's no way around it.
Carry the 2, and then it's going to be midnight first pitches. Even though they moved it up a little bit, I saw Stats was very excited about that. Nobody loves an earlier first pitch than Red Sox Stats. So it's probably like 11:30 first pitch in April in London.
So then, like, we're going to have to figure out something.
It's not good. Yeah, that's a look of, nah, I ain't doing that.
I mean, I'll still watch the games, but then am I going to be able to podcast for 2 hours after that? Like,
You're
then
not
when am I going to
sleeping.
sleep? Huh?
That's what I did. But
Ooh.
that was a long time ago. That was 6 years ago.
What do you mean that's what you did?
When I was in Ireland in 2018, we recorded at like from 3 to 5.
When did you sleep?
I went to bed at 5 and slept for like 3 hours.
And then did what?
Stuff with the family. It was a family trip. We then did check the cliff some more.
Was Dan
Yeah.
there?
Dan was there. Yep.
Yeah. Did you see Dan on my Instagram story?
Yep. Saw you put the goat emojis there. Yeah, I did see that.
That was a good Instagram story.
Mm-hmm.
I think
He
that
deserved
one,
the first slide.
That one did like 22K views on my Instagram story. People were coming in droves to get a look at Dan Peralt.
Yeah, like, you guys hear the news? Dan's on Jared's Instagram story. You got to go check that out. Got to give that a look.
Yeah. People saw it, or people heard about it first.
Mm.
They heard about it, and then they like, you got to see this shit. Dan Peralt's on Jared's Instagram story, and then they were like, "Tell me he used an emoji," and they were like, "I'm not gonna spoil it for you." Like, he used several emojis, but it was the same emoji. Can you guess which one it was? And they were like, I just need to see it. And then people went over, they looked at it, and they're like, my God, it's the goat emoji, and it's Dan Peralt.
The first and last slide of that post was the Peralta of the year. So
Yeah.
credit to Dan.
Oh my God, yeah. The Peralt of the year, Dan Peralt. Is he nervous about the repeat in 25 or no?
No, he feels good. He feels good.
He
Like,
should.
we talk about this on like a weekly basis. He's like, I know you put a lot of effort in, but I just feel like I'm ahead. You know, he constantly feels like I'm ahead in this race, and I don't think it's that close, honestly, the gap.
Yeah. That's gotta be like a very comforting feeling, knowing that you're just you're already Peralt of the year going into a new year as the heavy favorite to be Peralt of the year again.
I know. I go through things in my head of like, what can I do to win
Nothing.
this?
No,
yeah,
you
kind of.
Steve,
There's
you could save somebody's
there's an outside
life.
chance. I have a chance, right? I do have
No.
a chance at winning this
absolutely,
award.
yeah.
What would he have to do? What is the one thing? If he saved my life, if I was choking,
Oh
would he
no,
win?
automatic loss. No, yeah, that would go back to Dan. If he like saved like a baby from a burning building, like if he pulled.
The worst thing is that I'm gonna do that, but there's gonna be like no footage, and you'll be like, I don't really think you did it. So someone's gonna have to film me like saving a baby out of a building. That's what's gonna happen.
What you're not considering is that the Peralt of the year was voted on by the listeners of this podcast. Like, I didn't appoint Dan Peralt.
No, it is
the
true.
Peralt of the
I guess
year.
I'm asking you, listener, like, what do I got to do to be better? Let me know. Let me know in the replies what I got to do.
I don't know that there's. I think it's got to be consistency. I don't think that one heroic act gets you Peralt of the year. I think it's just being like consistently like Dan gets you there.
And it's got to consistently be like him. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, the blueprint is there, right?
Yeah.
You got
will
a campaign.
I will say something real quick. Actually, no,
Yeah.
I can't say this. Nope.
Why?
Never mind.
Why?
No, I actually cannot say it.
Why?
It was going to
Legally?
be praising Dan, but it's a project that I can't speak on.
Oh, congrats on the secret project to Dan.
Yep.
Big deal.
Do you have a secret project, Steve?
Secret project.
Well, we're both a part of it. Yeah.
Oh, you're part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, congrats to Steve on Dan's secret project.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's big.
Appreciate it.
That's big time, dude.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
That's huge.
All right, that'll do it.
T-Dog, any final thoughts here today?
I don't think so. None. Punting.
Steve's wearing the Section 10 Christmas sweater, which looks awesome.
Yep.
Sold out in a day. How the hell did you get one? I didn't even get one. Yeah, it looks great. Looks great. Jake's takes?
Since Coley's not here, I'll just say what his final thought would have been. Eat shit, T.
Yeah, he would have said that, honestly. He would have said that. And for the record, Tyler, I don't agree.
You started it.
Start what?
This whole abuse movement of yours.
Oh, no.
Nolan Arenado. You started this anger.
All right, listen, there's a difference between abuse and making you better, right?
Agreed. You're making me better.
Yeah. Like, you
have to beat your kids
aggregating a
sometimes,
report that you knew was not correct is not how I want you to operate moving forward. I want you to operate with authenticity.
I didn't view it that way, but I accept your outlook on it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Joey just texted me and said, if you guys are still trying to figure out, I believe this proves the answer is yes, they played on 9/11. And I said, it would have been 10:45 at night on 9/11. So we need to know if they played on 9/12, which we do have the answer to that. We have the answer.
You're welcome.
Thank you, T. Steve?
I just want to toss a closing thought in there real quick.
Yeah, sure.
All right, perfect. Want to get that approved. I really approve of Garrett Crochet's number. It was right after our last show that I think he confirmed number 35. I think that fits him perfectly. Understandable. Couldn't do the 45, couldn't do 34. I couldn't do 14. They're retired by the Red Sox, all three of those. Yeah. So I'm big on like the size of the numbers matching the size of the guy. Big dude, got a big butt. 35 is going to look good. I can see it all. I think it's all going to make sense and match, and it looks right on opening day. See?
Yeah.
My final thought. If you're picking an injured pitcher, whether it's Patrick Sandoval or John Means, to come here and rehab, it's Patrick Sandoval, and it's not even close. That is all. Younger, better stuff. 2 years ago, had a sub-3 ERA, sub-310 FIP, better velocity, more strikeouts. Andrew Bailey can turn him into a mid-rotation starter. In that 2019 and 2021 season by John Means, very fluky. 450, 460 FIP. That is all. You're going to send something very mean to the group chat. I'm not going to read it because I don't want my feelings
Me?
hurt. Yes. What did you say?
Oh, no, I just got a text.
Oh.
All right. We'll see you Friday for the Section 10 bonus pod. Don't miss it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Spotify, iTunes. Love you guys. And we'll see you next time. Signing off. Saying, Buenas noches, amigos.